public and you want to speak on an application, please fill out a speaker card and hand us the speaker cards. Okay. Let me just put those. And so welcome everybody to the January 2024 CB2 SLA 2 meeting. My name is Donna Raftery. I'm chair of the SLA committee. Other committee members are Katie Bordenaro, Dr. Shirley Smith, Brian Pape, Erica Olson, Bob Ely, Cormac Flynn, Carter Booth. So I'm going to be taking there are agendas up here. I'll be taking the items out of order. It's not too bad an evening, dare I say, tonight. So when I call on the applicant, please come up. Everybody, please make sure you use the microphone. It can be adjusted on the base, but we have to use the microphone. So I'll call on the applicant, they'll come up, go through the application. We'll go to the committee for questions and comments. Once we're done with that, anybody who's filled out a speaker card, we will go to the public. If you feel compelled to speak and you didn't fill out a speaker card, come on up and fill out the speaker card either while you're waiting to speak or right after you speak. Everybody say your name when you come up there. And address the committee. Applicants address the committee, public address the committee. I'm going to ask for no back and forth. We will hear from anybody who's here from the public, and then we will go back to the applicant for any follow-up and comments, etc. And I think that's kind of does it. Just be respectful and speak to the committee and not to each other. Okay. So the first application we're going to hear is Kook Burger and Bar, New York City LLC. That's an on-premise for restaurant at 47 7th Avenue South. If you could come on up. Anything new in it that you didn't submit? No, I don't. And Happy New Year, everybody. Merry. Okay, I think what you might have to do is turn it on. It should be a little switch. There
we go.
Got it.
This is Phil Doyle, attorney with Zetsky and Bookman. Nice to see you. Happy New Year. With me behind me is Victor Allegria. He is a part owner and the head of operations for Kook Burger and Bar, New York City. Victor and his team are looking to open a hamburger restaurant on 7th Avenue South in what is the Mad Morton space. The whole idea behind this restaurant actually came from two of the other owners who have children, and in their lives, they were always looking for a place where their children could go and have some fun, where they could also go and have some fun, where it wasn't either just a total kiddie place or an adult bar. So they found themselves in a scenario and they opened a place in Philadelphia to that effect. They have now moved over here to New York City in hopes to open a similar but slightly more tame concept. That's what Kook Bar is here. Just 14 tables, 52 seats total, with one bar and 13 seats. Background music only, no outdoor space. And the hours of operation are what Mad Morton has currently, which is midnight during the week and 1 a.m. on weekends. They did a whole lot of outreach. They posted flyers and passed around flyers to different units in the neighborhood to host a community meeting. No one attended the meeting. they reached out to
I mean,
over the holiday. I mean, but it was a virtual meeting and it was before New Year's. They reached out to Augustine Hope. Augustine did not reach back out to them. They got over 40 petition signatures, which you'll see in the packet. And I know there are some people that are here to speak on this application, but overall they received a great deal of support, and they're excited to open in this neighborhood.
okay, so, let's see. There are operable windows on both sides, right? Of this.
Do the
on
windows
Morton
open on
Street,
Morton Street?
and I'm just,
No, so the windows only open on 7th.
my,
7th Avenue. That's right.
on Seventh Avenue,
Yeah.
okay. And there's an enclosed sidewalk cafe.
That's right.
So
Fully enclosed.
all the seating on Seventh Avenue there outside, is the bar in the sidewalk cafe? I drew a line on my diagram, but,
Is it inside the glass structure or is it
It's,
in?
so it's inside the restaurant itself.
Yeah,
not-
okay. Okay, and then all the other tables are on the outside. The music is,
Background music
background.
only recorded?
there's no other sidewalk cafe
No, no
other
outdoor seating.
than, and, the entrance is only on Seventh Avenue.
That's right. There are two entrances. There's one on 7th Avenue South and there is one on Morton Street, but these guys do not plan to use the Morton Street exit. Happy to stipulate to that.
Okay. And the windows on Morton Street will be closed at all times.
That's right.
How. Okay, I think that's it for my questions. Who else on the, anybody? Yes. Yeah, but- So Carter,
Just a quick question. We just heard a cannabis application for this location.
For this exact
Yes,
location?
last month. So I'm just wondering who has possession of the space.
Well, currently Matt Morton still has possession
Right.
of it, but we have an LOI.
They said they did also.
Although we
I'm
have a sneaky landlord.
I'm
that-
just,
Yeah,
it's a little odd situation as you know,
Yeah,
cannabis. is-
sounds like we have a sneaky landlord who is shopping his or her place around, but as far as we are aware and as far as we are operating, we're operating under the assumption that we will be moving into this space. As you all know, in order to have a lease before we attend this meeting, it's many months of work, so we obviously have to get a head start here, but the LOI was sufficient indication to us that we'll be moving ahead with this space.
And the current operators had a lot of complaints, a lot of issues in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm sure you've heard about those issues. What are you planning to do that will ameliorate or eliminate?
Yeah, well,
those
I
problems?
can't speak to the actions of prior tenants, but what I can say is I know there were issues with usage of the entrance / exit on Morton Street, which we, like I said, are stipulating to not using as a customer entrance or exit. In fact, it won't even be used for staff either. It will be an emergency exit. I know in discussions with some of the neighbors earlier that there was worry about, well, if your hours are 1 a.m., then people really aren't leaving till 1:30. As we know here, legally, that can't happen. Our hours are 1, so that means all customers will be out at 1. Our hours are 12 during the week, so all customers will be out at 12, if not earlier during the week. So if a prior tenant was operating in a way where customers were leaving at 1:30 or 2, all I can say to that is, A, we are not them, and B, we will not be doing that because that's against the law.
okay, Katie?
Yes, it's working. Okay, thank you. So can you describe your private party business plan? Question 1.
Yeah, so our private party business plan was only regarding holiday parties. If anybody wanted to, buy out the restaurant, usually there's a procedure for that. They have to put down a deposit. We have to make sure that it all ties in with the laws of how much occupancy we can have in there. Pretty much, it's just a sit-down restaurant, right? You come in, you sit down. We don't have any plans on ending any live entertainment for their private parties. It was just, keep it straight professional. You want to buy out the restaurant, which usually people don't tend to buy out. It tends to become a little bit more than just coming into the restaurant and having their party there. But I don't see too many private parties happening in the restaurant.
I'll come back. I'll
Okay.
come back next and I'll come back.
No, okay, Cormac?
Well, I didn't mean to change the subject. Okay. Tell me about the TVs.
Yeah, there are two TVs in the establishment. They will be on. I know everyone's concerned with TVs is sports bar. And while we can't stipulate to no sports being played, we can tell you that this is not a sports bar. This is not going to be a place where people come in and there's NFL Red Zone on the TV and they're playing every single game and there are multiple screens. They're just two TVs and they're going to be playing what's on local television at the time.
So you'll stipulate it's not a sports bar, but let me ask, where are the TVs located? Are they behind the bar? Are they?
So there's one right on, so there's one right outside of the bar, and then the other two are spread out through the restaurant.
It's only two.
There's only two actually. Yeah. There's one that's hanging right in front of the bar, which is facing the dining room. It's not, you can't even see it from sitting at the bar. And then the second one's spread out towards the other side of the restaurant.
Okay, and these are how big?
I think the biggest one is about 42 inches.
Okay, so it's not like a whole wall.
No. Like I said, it's not really massive.
Okay, so the music will be off when the TVs are on. Some places don't have any sound when they have the TVs on. Are those TVs going to be on or sound off?
TVs won't be hooked up to speakers. I can't
There's
say
no-
unless you can say, I can't say that they'll be off or muted entirely, but it would be the sound coming from just the TV itself.
Okay, I do have a comment. I always prefer 11 and 12 to 12 and 1. So if you hold back your hours, that would be very nice. Is one of the bathrooms big enough for ADA compliance?
Yes.
Okay. I see on your menu that you have a boozy brunch, which is something that we very much frown on. Bottomless mimosas. Is that true?
That's what they have on the application.
Is that what you intend to do?
It's not bottomless.
Please come up to the microphone.
It's not bottomless mimosa. So what it is, it's a brunch prefix, and you get, and within an hour and a half, you're allowed 2 other drinks that are on the prefix max.
You're allowed to do what? Say that
Have
again?
2 other drinks, part of the prefix max.
It says
up
here,
there.
bottomless mimosas,
Yeah, we'd have to change the wording. It's not,
1.5
Happy
hours.
to stipulate to not doing bottomless if that's,
Yeah, and bottomless Bloody Marys.
yeah, we're happy
Okay,
to
so
stipulate
I'm
to
just
that.
pointing out.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. The petitions really aren't very helpful at all.
Well, that's why we hosted the meeting. We posted it in several different places for people to attend a meeting. If they had anything to say to us, they just wanted to meet us. And no one showed up. So between reaching out to Augustine, between getting signatures and between hosting a meeting, I mean, how much more can we do?
Well, I mean, the people on the block, I know some of them, and they're very concerned, and they were very concerned about the last place. So I'm surprised that somehow the message didn't get to them, but I'm sure
We tried.
we'll hear from them if there's a problem.
Yep.
They're quite, they're not shy people. In a previous package, you had a certificate of occupancy for a place in Brooklyn. Do you have the previous application, not your application, but do you have a certificate of occupancy? Have you shown it to us?
Should be in the packet, and if it's not, then the C of O is pending, but we will obviously be in accordance with a valid certificate of occupancy.
I didn't see one, but we did look at the Mad Morton one, and they had submitted something from Brooklyn, so that doesn't helpful. Now, there, on this diagram of the premises in our packet, I'll let you look.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
There is a wall that is indicated opposite the entrance. Is that the building wall? And that wall, the line of that wall, I think this is very close to the bar stools. So I don't know what's in the Sidewalk Cafe, and I don't know exactly what the dimensions of the Sidewalk Cafe are supposed to be. I don't know, we may have a comment from Mr. Pope on that.
Well, I did hear the conversation about a sidewalk cafe, but there's a permanent enclosure.
That's right.
It's fixed, it's enclosed, it's air conditioned. And I think the point that was made is that the original building wall has been taken out so that the floor and the space just flows from, I guess, the original interior
Yeah.
out into this other structure.
Right.
So my point that I wanted to clarify is that there will be no addition of structure or any additional sidewalk seating or a roadbed seating.
That's correct.
Okay, so so we're, as far as a certificate of occupancy, this is going to include this part of the permanent structure out on the sidewalk.
Well, it's a licensed enclosed sidewalk cafe.
It's been there a long
Yeah.
time.
It's
Yeah,
a
that-
grandfathered one at that. I don't know what the previous
Yeah.
tenant did.
What? Go ahead, microphones. Is-
I was just saying that enclosed sidewalk cafes are supposed to be attached to the building without the exterior walls being removed. But in this particular location, the building's exterior walls were removed so that the enclosed sidewalk cafe is part of, the space is not differentiated. And that's significant because previously, under the old Department of Consumer Affairs regulations, you were not allowed to have speakers within the enclosed sidewalk cafes. And so without the building walls, they're not always built as structurally as sound as a building would be.
Go ahead, Cormac.
Yeah, and I just want to get clarity that I understood correctly here, because in the packet, you do talk about seasonal outdoor seating. But we're being told there's going to be no outdoor seating.
That's right. No
Thank you.
outdoor seating. I mean, I think what the indication was originally was for what was the Open Streets program. They would like to participate if that continues. So it was included in the packet. Not the open restaurants, outdoor dining, sheds or sidewalk seating, but when the block was closed down. That's right. They just wanted to be able to include themselves in that if it happened.
Okay, is there anybody else from the committee right now? No? Okay, we do have people from the public, so I'll go to the
Great.
public. And let's see, Rachel Curry, Lucille DeVito, and Nancy Paisley. If you just all want to come up here and take your turns, state your name.
Bring this in.
Yeah, you got it. Great.
Great, thank you guys for being here tonight. So I just wrote out a few comments.
You start with your name.
Oh, Rachel, sorry. So it's not totally clear to me why we would need the hours to be open from 12 o'clock on weekdays until 1 a.m. on weekends. I'd propose 10 p.m. on weekdays and 11 p.m. on weekends. So actually with Mad Morton, I live directly above the unit. So I'm in number 1 at 13 Morton Street. So I actually had a drunk person break into our building about a year ago, and I believe they came from Mad Morton, and the police were called around 12 a.m. I want to say. Just one incident of because of like the environment that Mad Morton brought to that space, just a lot of unruliness. Additionally, the unit has 0 insulation between the floors. So I believe that was ripped out by a previous owner of that unit. So we can hear just about everything. So speakers, bass.
So there's no insulation?
There's no
in-
insulation.
In the ceiling?
No,
No, you hear,
No, there's none.
You hear everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if it is like a family-friendly restaurant, I don't really see why there would need to be TVs and music playing past 11 PM. And then I did pull up the website as well as the application. So it says on the application, there were no promoted events, but I do see promoted events that they do in Philadelphia. Asking people to like come to the restaurant for XYZ game or XYZ event. There is complete sports bar branding on the website that says, quote, when the Phillies and Eagles play, we turn the sound on. And then we run game day drink specials during all major sporting events, no matter what time it is. So that doesn't lead me to believe that this is a quiet, non-sports centered, friendly kind of family establishment. And I think that's about it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Nancy? Or
Okay, thank you, Donna. I'm Nancy Paisley. I think I mainly have to echo what a number of people have already said. I'm concerned about whether these people really have a right to use the space, whether this is just an exercise because of the cannabis application, which the committee recommended denial, but that doesn't necessarily end the show. And Morton renewed its liquor license just 3 weeks ago, so it doesn't sound like they are leaving. As far as outreach is concerned, they put up, I just saw this today, this kind of gaudy poster put up, of course, with no permits. Augustine, did you ever hear from these people to a meeting? So, so much for outreach. If it started as a children's restaurant, this is not a children's restaurant. This is a bar. It's a bar like any other bar. I share Carter's concern about the speakers in a glass tin cafe. Ms. Bordnell, I think I can help you. If you look at the diagram, there is a stub of a wall inside the entrance. That is what is left of the exterior wall of the building. If you take that straight down to the corner, the rest of that is a glassed-in sidewalk cafe. So this is basically that is on the public sidewalk. With the dividing wall removed, with who knows what permits, but this is not the only case this has happened. So basically, it's a whole open area, and you really can't soundproof the glass very well. So it's had a license before. It's asking for a license now. It's been a bar before. It's been a troublesome bar before. And I think my concern is that it's going to be a troublesome bar again.
thank you.
So I can't support this one.
Okay, thank you. Lucille DeVito? Happy New Year.
I've had a conversation with the
Just
owner.
put the microphone just down a little and, oops, we're just, you can, whatever it's easy
now.
to do, but you have to speak into the mic, yeah.
I was away on vacation. When I came home, I met the people that were doing this. I had no clue earlier. But my request is, yes, we do have a lot of problems on Morton Street, number 13, number 10, 12, 14, all of that with the noise that generates from the previous owner. Not saying that they will do the same. My request is reduce your hours. They say they're going to have a restaurant. I asked them if they would reduce their hours, make it a stipulation instead of 1 o'clock on the weekend, make it 12 o'clock, and during the week, make it 11 o'clock, like all the other restaurants in the area. They're out fairly quickly. It gives them enough time. I'm told that it's against the law if somebody is inside having a drink when they're getting close to closing time. I don't think you could just throw your patrons out while you're cleaning up. Maybe you all could clarify that for me. But I'm hoping that the hours would be reduced so that we don't have all the noise and the aggravation of the spill out onto Morton Street that affected her home, our homes. Everybody that lives in the front of the building is woken up by the screaming, the yelling, the loud cell phones, them barfing on the street. They used to urinate on the door next to 13. We don't want that. And I'm trying to think in good faith. It's a new place. They want a chance at it. I'm asking if they would reduce their hours. We give them a chance. If they raise hell, you'll see us again. And then we'll just keep calling the police and carrying on that way
Done.
and get all our
Done.
complaints in order. And then they won't get their renewal next time around.
Okay, we'll still just stay there 1 second. I think we have questions for you,
Okay.
Dr. Smith. What is your name?
Me,
What is your name?
Lucille DeVito,
And where do you live?
10 Morton Street.
Close to the restaurant?
I've been at 10 Morton Street for 50 years. Well, thank you. I'm in my 70s and I'm getting tired of all
So,
this, you know?
Are you right next door? Is that basically?
No, it's here's
okay.
the building, and what happens is the fire door, which if, I don't know if they're gonna have a bouncer to prevent people from spilling out. But with Mad Morton, all the people that got drunk and rowdy would spill out through that crash bar door.
On Morton
Yeah, and
Street.
you need 2 egresses, so you really can't lock it. So you gotta keep your eye on your patrons that are spilling out. Morton Street is quiet, the garage is closed, okay? So there's no activity there anymore. It's dark. I just got the street light redone. It took me like months before they came and put the street light back on. So it's like they would spill out, it's dark, it's a corner, and they would hang out there and carry on like crazy. And the people in the front of the building would call out to them. Like it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, man, lower it down. They would curse them out. It was a nightmare. We don't want another nightmare. So
So-
I'm asking, please, if you say you can control these people that come into your place, cut your hours. Next time, if it works out great and you want to extend it and you've proved yourself
To us.
to be a good tenant and with the
To us.
community, then you
Okay.
apply for more.
Okay, let me just for clarity, you're on Morton Street to the east of 7th Avenue.
I'm on Morton Street between Bleecker and 7th
Got it.
Avenue.
Yep.
There's the garage,
Yep,
there's
yep.
the French restaurant. I'm in the
Yep.
building where the Frenchie is.
Okay, Cormac, go ahead.
So, because I want to get clear what you're looking for, because we've heard, like even tonight and before the meeting, other community members
I was
who
at,
think that 10 and 11 are appropriate. You're suggesting a compromise because they're looking for 12-1. You're suggesting compromise in the middle of 11 and 12.
I think that's kind of fair. And the way I look at it is 11 o'clock is your shutdown. You're not out of there till 12 anyway.
Hmm.
Okay,
Well, just for
So-
clarity, let me just be clear on when we say hours, our hours mean everybody is out. So if they say 12 o'clock, that means that last drink has to be had and finished.
And
The
who's
bill has to be
enforcing that?
paid. Well, I mean,
doesn't
that's,
get enforced.
well, it actually,
we all
it
know that.
seems to work reasonably well, except for some people. I'm just, and so that's how we do our hours in this community board. It means hard close. That means that everybody's out except for them cleaning up. That's what's supposed to
We
happen.
hope that's what happens.
Right.
But in reality, it doesn't happen.
Well, if that doesn't happen, then people should be making complaints that they're going past their
We
hours
make complaints
to,
to the
to
owners.
to the New York State Liquor
I
Authority.
think so.
But I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
a new application. We go through this. I'm not saying everybody follows it, but those are the hours. However, those hours are described in this board, we make it very clear to people that we mean everybody out. Other boards may not do that, but for us, that does mean everybody out. It doesn't mean last call. So if people don't abide by that, you know, then they should, the New York State Liquor Authority should be knowing that they're operating past their hours
Okay.
that they were given. Just so you know that. I can't speak to Mad Morton. That doesn't sound like it did that.
Well, it happens around the city all the time.
Okay.
What I do want to say is now, I always thought all the restaurants in the area closed at 11. That's why I said 11. But they're proposing 10. So I thought it's a new establishment, give them a shot. Let's see what they'll do. I mean, whether they're gonna make noise at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, it's the same type of thing. So I don't know. I really thought 11 o'clock was the cutoff for the restaurants, and they propose themselves as a restaurant. And I want to believe that they're not going to be a sports bar and be a restaurant.
Thank
All
you.
right? Yep. You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Bill. You can. Okay, because you're.
So just to quickly address some of the points that were just made. First and foremost, regarding the break-in that might have happened. First of all, I'm so sorry that happened. That sounds very scary. That sounds very awful. I apologize for anything, but I can't apologize for the tenants that were there before or the people that are walking around the West Village. The person who made that statement said that they weren't even sure if they were coming from Mad Morton. So, I mean, it's kind of a heavy accusation. And then on top of it, you know, like I said, we are not Mad Mortons. So one bad actor from a previous place should not be held against us. In a similar vein, like I mentioned before, we are not a bar. We are a restaurant through and through, a full menu, full food items, full kitchen. And that is seen through not only the food, but through the method of operation as well. There was mention of having a bouncer out on Morton Street to make sure that people don't use that door. That is so not even in the realm of possibility for us because we're not the type of place that would have a bouncer. You don't have bouncers at restaurants. All that to say, there was mention of finding a middle ground and not wanting to have a nightmare. We don't want to have a nightmare either. We really don't. There was mention of the place in Philadelphia. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is not the same place. They understand that Philadelphia is a different beast from New York. And me growing up as a New York sports fan, I understand that Philadelphians are a different beast. We're happy to find a middle ground here. If that middle ground is 11 during the week and 12 on the weekends, we're happy to agree to that.
Bob. Well, let Bob go first. Okay, go ahead, Katie. Go ahead.
The weekend is Friday and Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm just, the menu you provide us doesn't have a place in Philadelphia doesn't have any alcohol except for beer and wine. Why is all of a sudden we need an on-premise license for a fast casual hamburger joint?
Well, it's not fast casual. It's a sit down with a server.
I'm looking at the menu, shakes and hamburgers.
Who's to say? I mean, it's not Chipotle. It's not, you don't go up and order at the counter and go sit down.
Fries and all the other, but I'm just saying, that's what I see on the menu.
It's more than just hamburgers. That's the center of their concept, but there are other sandwiches, other menu items, and it's full weight service. And so if people want to enjoy a chicken sandwich with either a beer or a margarita, they're welcome to. But
Right, but I don't see a drink at all.
we don't typically provide a drink menu.
Okay, well, what the drink's gonna be with this kind of food? That's what I'm trying to find out. If it's one wine, that's one thing.
No,
It
it's
kind of makes sense.
liquor. It's full liquor. So whatever a full liquor bar has to offer.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, the Philadelphia place talks about kids, okay? And the menu talks about kids, and I mean, I understand there's a little bit of a sports bar thing that was thrown in Philadelphia as well, but this is not a place where you go, it's based on the menu alone, where you're gonna start drinking margaritas. I don't know how margaritas match.
Well, some people don't drink beer. So if people want to go in with their family and have a burger, have a sandwich, and then order, I don't know, even a martini, they're welcome to.
Yeah, I guess if there's a full bar with that kind of concept, that raises some red flags in my brain. So what I at least would like to see a menu that deals with the drinks, because if that's truly what's going on here, how do they match both? I just don't know how you match the menu, the method of operation with hard
I
spirits.
think the truth of the matter is that in today's world, people enjoy cocktails with all sorts of food.
Right, that may be a great response from the lawyer, but that's not the applicant here. Okay, I'm serious. I'd like to know how this can be mixed, and matched with that particular menu. I just have a hard time believing it. This is a credibility issue, and so I get the concept. I truly do. I don't think this concept is a bad one for the location, but I don't understand the spirits.
Okay. So can we? Okay. Okay, you can come up for 1 minute, but just so that you know, speak to us and not to them. And normally we don't let the public come back up. So I'm letting you do that because you're new to all of this. So go right ahead.
We're just gonna
But-
answer Bob's
Just
question.
in regards to the menus, right? We would have the wine menu. Right now, we only carry about 2 wines in the restaurant. Beer, there's only 3 draft lines, and just, there's not enough room for plenty of canned beer. So just whatever we have, we'd have to put on the menu. We had to put on the ABV, which is the alcohol beverage volume. As far as the full bar, not a lot of restaurants you go to are gonna name every single spirit that you have. You can clearly see the bar and what spirits are there. There might be a specialty cocktail menu depending on, what calls for at the restaurant. I mean, as far as the menus, it's just a list of the beers and the wines and the ABV to those both.
Cormac, go ahead.
Yeah.
Wait,
so-
let her just go ahead.
So just speaking for myself at 13 Morton Street and the rest of us here, we would prefer just beer and wine. But like you mentioned, I don't think it makes a lot of sense if it is this family-friendly restaurant. And also if they would be willing to install insulation between, I guess like that unit and mine below the
Got it.
roof. Yeah, we'd
Yeah.
request that.
Thank you. Cormac.
So I just want to pick up on Bob's point. I have other points and things we'll talk about before this is done, but I'm just struggling on the credibility front, not saying anything negative about either of you, but
Microphone, please.
I'm not saying anything negative personally about either of you, but this is an established brand with a corporate identity and profile, a look and everything else. And it is a brand that in Philadelphia is listed on the internet, known by people as a sports bar with 30+ TVs, right? Likewise, there's also location in New Jersey. Not like this is also just a second place or something like that, right? So I understand what you're saying is, we understand it's different here and it's a different concept. But if it's a different concept, why isn't it a different concept? Like, why does it have the same name and the same logos and the same everything if you're doing something totally different?
Because people build on brands. It's why start fresh when you have something good going? People recognize it.
Sorry.
Because the brand promise is that you're going to get this, what you got somewhere else.
That's why you use the brand, because the brand is
Right. I can't speak to
business,
the business decision of the owners and why they're using one brand name or the other, but all I can speak to is what the method of operation will be for this location, and I've explained it. And if you don't believe us, that's one thing, but what we're saying to you here is the truth. There are 2 TVs, there aren't 30 TVs.
But even the applicant said they're gonna be spread throughout. Instead of 2. You were the one saying 2.
He accidentally said 3, and then he corrected himself and said 2.
Augustine, did you have one question? I hate to say, do it, but for us, the question's for us, and you have to use the microphone.
Augustine Hope, West Village Residents Association. Just a question to the committee. Is this a legally enclosed space, enclosed sidewalk cafe? Thank you.
Yes, but who knows how it happened, I guess. Yeah. So Cormac, go ahead.
So if I don't want to interrupt, if somebody else want to go, but
I'll go after Cormac.
yeah, I'm just asking about that door. I understand completely your point about the bouncer. It's just inappropriate for what your concept. Would you agree to wire the door and make it a fire bar exit because it's a fire egress? Right?
Yeah, we would, so long
Okay.
as that's compliant. I mean,
Right,
we'd have
because
to,
that should cut down on this issue of drunks just going out that way,
there
right?
will not be customers going out that door.
Okay.
We will stipulate to that.
Katie?
I'm looking at the Instagram with the flights and margaritas. You are going to remove from the menu and at this location and mention of bottomless.
Yes, we agree to that.
But we're just reiterating because we're talking now about the details. So that's there will be no bottomless drinks of any kind. Did you say that you could pay a certain amount of money and get two in an hour? I don't know. What? How is it going to be?
The brunch program allows, and this is at the other location. This is yet to be determined if they will implement it here in New York. But the brunch program allows for two cocktails from this, I believe, from the specialty cocktail list during your brunch.
So if I may just follow up on that, Phil. The
Mhm.
one thing I'm going to say is you're telling us that this is a new concept under this brand. You're just referencing the concept that they have there. And you can understand why I'm just going
Yeah,
to tell you this
I
is most
understand.
likely going to come up because you've already heard it. This is the problem, is because we're looking, you're telling us it's not the same, yet it says the bottomless drinks, and you just referenced the cocktail thing that they have in the other location. So will the TVs, will he stipulate to not having any sound on the TVs, not pumping it through, not having the sound on? That, because everybody's sitting at the bar with the football game on, now this becomes your sports bar, which is advertised all over the place here. If you're telling me it's different, I'm trying to figure out what we do here for us to know that it's different, because the menu looks like this. And
Well, the
And-
difference is 30 televisions pumped through speakers and 2 televisions that are not. I think that's a massive difference.
okay, anybody else from the committee? Cormac, go ahead, sorry.
So I was struck by the soundproofing issue, right? If that ceiling has no soundproofing and things, will you stipulate to soundproofing the space?
It really depends on what you mean by soundproofing. Soundproofing can be anything from a layer of foam to $100,000 worth of soundproofing mechanisms. And we can't commit to the latter, but we can commit to taking efforts to ensure noise compliance and to ensure that neighbors will be happy. I mean,
Yeah, well, typically what somebody will have is they'll, hire, there are a number of firms, acoustic engineers around here who specialize in soundproofing for bar and restaurant. They'll tell you what you need to make sure that that apartment that is above, I believe, just the one end of the space, right, and things is protected from those sounds,
yeah, I
right?
mean, we can't commit to hiring a sound engineer because that's tens of thousands of dollars. But we can,
We're not, yeah. Yeah, why don't you, then we can see if you can connect with the upstairs neighbors to make sure that they're not.
we can stipulate to connecting with them, if that's what you're saying.
For the purpose of soundproofing, yeah.
Sure, but I can't stipulate to the measures that will specifically be taken.
How much money is being spent?
Right, okay.
So let me ask one other thing. Where are you right now with what you're suggesting for closing hours?
12 and 11 during the week, 12 on weekends.
And what about, I heard that the windows operate on Seventh Avenue South, and we have written testimony we received that the noise coming from the windows because they're open, right, is
We've stipulated that the Morton street windows will not be open.
right, and the windows face Seventh Avenue South will close at what time?
What time would you like them to be closed? 11 o'clock is typically.
Well, the problem is that they close at 10.
That's what-
and about the windows with the 10 o'clock closing, so I think an earlier closing is appropriate.
Closing windows earlier than 10 PM is kind of ludicrous. I mean, that's on 7th Avenue, on a major artery of New York City, to make them close the windows.
To you, to the people writing us letters complaining about the noise flowing out of those windows, it doesn't seem that ludicrous.
So
Right.
the past stipulation said that they closed at 10 PM. There's no live music, there's no DJ, but also, that they'll take all measures, including soundproofing, which sounds like it wasn't done, and volume control of interior music levels to ensure that music is not audible in apartments above and or adjacent to licensed premises. So I think what that means, based on what we've heard, is that more needs to be done to make a stip like that work here, unless you're quieter.
Well, we inherently will be quieter, as I've spoken about at length. It's a different method of operation. One more thing I'd like to add is that they're in the works with Mad Morton for an asset purchase agreement, which allows for a temporary permit, which would not be restricted by any sort of hours limitation. And as you all know, the State Liquor Authority is operating at massively slow speeds these days, which would mean that they would be operating basically limitless for about 10 months. We're here to find that middle ground we're willing to work with everyone here, but asking for 10 PM and beer and wine only will not work.
Guys, let's
It's
stop
not a
for-
threat, it's just it's the truth of how the State Liquor Authority is operating right now. So if we're gonna offer a middle ground, but we're not gonna get the same from the other side, then there are other avenues we can take. That's
Sure. What? Yeah, right. Okay. I think that's it, right? Carter, did you microphone? Corner?
So one of the things, and just reviewing this stuff, Mad Morton wasn't supposed to be operating an open street because they have a stipulation that they'll have no outdoor service of alcohol on their existing license. And you'd mentioned this is something the applicant wants to do in the future. That the angst of what the outdoor dining created at this location was how I got to know some of the residents on Morton Street better. In fact, the chair of the Liquor Authority reached out to me about it. You know, that was the level, whatever had reached her from knowing people and said, hey, what can I tell them? This is an issue here. And with this location, everything they said, the past operator, is the same things you guys are saying. And I know this is, so the question is, and I sense a little differences amongst everybody here, you know, whatever their feelings are, but how, you know, you're asking us to take the same chance that the last operator asked us to take. And the outside seems to be the biggest issue here. That is the ongoing issue.
Right.
And that's why I just raise it, because I think that that's where the problems are going to start is, and we've heard no clarity at all in the open streets program.
But I think,
And that's kind of what, if you're going to participate in that, I sense that that's where the issues
right.
may be. And
I think the leap of faith that we're asking you to make is less than the previous tenant, because we're now asking for reduced hours to 11 and 12. We've stipulated that there would be no usage of the door on Morton Street. We've shut the windows on Morton Street. We're now shutting the windows on 7th Avenue South earlier. So it's a lesser ask. So it's not the same leap of.
I understand that, but should you had already indicated that you would be interested in participating in the open streets program.
Mhm.
I doubt that you'll be walking out all the way around the corner
We will.
to service that area.
We will.
And I'm not even sure that that is something that people would want. You know, as far as serving food, you're walking out on an open sidewalk, there's nothing there going all the way around to the open street. And just, this is the issue that it gets dragged around in the summer. People are out there late. I mean, I just looked at the open streets program, it's till midnight. I mean, that's, you know, what's the point of all the discussions we're having if you suddenly close the street and have a significant amount of seating out there? That just sort of eliminates everything that we're talking about from the noise perspective. And that's where that's why I'm,
Right. I
I
mean,
think we need to talk about that now.
It sounds more of an issue with the open streets program than with our place, but
And will you guys stipulate that you won't participate in it?
no, we can't.
So that's
stipulate.
why we'd like to discuss this now, because this is our,
Why does it exist
opportunity.
if we're not even, I mean,
well, it's noise. It's noise. And that's what we hear, noise. That's the number one complaint, noise. Nobody cares if you're inside and nobody can hear you.
well, if no one cares if we're inside, then we'd like.
Nobody can hear you. An unenclosed sidewalk cafe that's a majority of your seating with walls removed from the building. I mean, this situation has perpetuated since Charlie Mom through 3 other operators. And each time the space is, and I bring it up because it's noise, and that's what ultimately, this is what we will have as an issue on Morton Street, and we'll hear from the residents.
But public is quiet now, honestly, not doing this.
Just a side stipulation. I mean, open streets is not open restaurants. It was not about restaurants, even though it's become that way. So that open streets was not created for that necessarily. But I just want to ask one last thing before we close this out, and I'm sorry I didn't ask this earlier. Can you tell me what's going on with the certificate of occupancy? Because in the thing, you say that you do not have one and do not intend to seek one. Does that have to do with the missing exterior wall or?
No, we'll stipulate to the fact that there will be a valid certificate of occupancy before we open. That's it.
Anybody else from the committee have anything? Okay. You okay?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any chance we could do my other one? while I'm here?
I think,
Xandra?
that's the next one I have up, so there you go. It's your lucky night. Okay. The next application will be Xandra Hospitality, doing business as Kabin, 300 Spring Street. This is an on-premise for bar tavern. So far, see what happens. Is there anything in this that you haven't sent in to the office?
you.
All right, just for the record again, my name is Phil Dorn, attorney with Zetsky and Bookman. To my right is Alex Tangen, who is the owner of Xandra Hospitality, who will be opening her establishment called the Kabin. She is looking to take over the Pine and Polk space at 300 Spring Street over in Hudson Square. While there will no longer be a speakeasy component of the business, which is what is there currently, there will be a similar concept of a quiet cocktail bar with asking for the same hours of operation that Pine and Polk has. Alex has brought on a world-class team, including a former chef from Noma, as well as operators and consultants from several Michelin star restaurants, including 11 Madison Park, Sushi Nakazawa, Jean George. I mean, this team is an all-star caliber team of high-end restaurants and bars. The establishment will have 12 tables, 32 seats, and 1 bar with 10 seats, background recorded music only. They received support from the condo board in the building at 300 Spring Street, which you should have received as well. We hope that goes a long way, as those people stand to be impacted most by this application. They also received a handful of petition signatures, and they spoke to Sean Sweeney, who had no problem with this application. So with that, I'll turn it over to the committee.
So hours are
12 and 1,
12
same
and
as Pine and Polk.
Friday and Saturday is
That's
the
right.
one, right? Okay. And then background music, no TVs.
That's right.
How many private parties? Approximately less than.
once a month.
So how about not more than 12 a year? Okay, because you might want more than
Might
once
be
a month
two in
and
one month and
holidays.
zero in the
Okay.
other. That's great. Thank you.
Okay. And then, they're outside, I think.
Yeah, the same that Pine and Polk was granted by this committee, which is 5 2 tops on the frontage of Spring Street.
Okay, and that closes at, I think, 10
That's right.
during the week and 11.
That's right.
Uh,
The same that
Or-
we ask for
Ten.
typically.
10 and 11 or 10?
Yeah,
11.
10 and 11, same,
10,
same ask
10,
as
what-
we usually ask.
So 10 and 11.
10, 11.
10 and 11.
That's right.
Okay. And that 11 is the same thing, Friday and Saturday, this is not a
Correct.
Thursday weekend, it's a, Katie was happy, it's a official Friday and Saturday
Yes.
weekend. And there's no are there operable doors and windows aside from?
There's an operable door just to
Get
get in.
in and
but that's
out,
it.
there's nothing else, so all the doors will be closed at all times, and there's no patron use of a cellar. Is
No.
that correct? Okay. Cormac, I see your hand.
Yeah, I only have one question. On the diagram, there is a storage space that is accessible through the second bathroom. I just wanted to know what that space is used to store.
Dry goods and alcohol,
Right.
but
Okay,
If you-
I just want to make sure it isn't like any food things, or because it's got to be transited through the
Yes,
bathroom,
that's
so.
correct.
Right, okay,
Katie?
thank you.
Okay. So does the condo board own this space or is this separately owned? You said the condo board it approves, but I don't know if they're the landlords.
There is a separate landlord for this space. if that's-
Sometimes there is, I understand,
Right.
just wanted to be clear.
Yep.
Does, in the papers, you say there's some sort of a service elevator connected with this business, and does it go into the residential area?
It's
What's the
it's
access
through
to the
the
service area?
basement that tenants have access to that won't go into the restaurant.
But do the employees have access to that space?
It is a shared corridor in the back portion of the restaurant where customers will not have access to, and similarly, residents of the building will not have access to the restaurant.
So the
Is that
employees of the restaurant can go there and the employees of the building can go there.
correct?
I see. Now, in the original application for outdoor seating, it says that the Sidewalk Cafe extends beyond the frontage of the business. Is that true?
Which document exactly are you?
This
referring-
is the addendum for outdoor seating right in front of the photographs. And there's a question, does seating extend beyond the business frontage? And you said yes.
I think that was meant to say, is it, not does it go past it, but does it sit in front?
Yeah,
Is it-
we usually,
Yes,
Way,
yes.
not that way.
That's exactly.
yeah, we usually think of the answer to that question that you're going in part of the next.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, okay, no, I understand why.
It will be completely within the
It's in
bounds
front
of the
your-
frontage.
In the bounds of your.
Yeah.
And you did give us some sort of a diagram, but I also see in the photographs there's a tree pit. And I don't really know how wide your Sidewalk Cafe is, how wide
The
is the
sidewalk is about 15 feet.
Okay.
There won't be any tables that cause there to be less than 8-foot clearance in front of an amenity zone, so in front of.
It doesn't interfere or you.
You'll still have your
avoid it.
8 feet.
We will still have our 8 feet.
Thank you.
Dr. Smith?
I just have a question about your petitions. You just mentioned that in the building you have permission of everyone, right? But you have an example of a letter here. Did you put this letter under doors of other buildings? And if so, what were those other buildings?
I'll let Alex speak to that, but typically you can't really get into other buildings. I mean, you can sometimes put something in front of the front door of a many unit building, but we were able to get access to our own building via the condo board, but there's only so much without disturbing the peace and buzzing every single person. There's only so many ways
Did
to
you
get it
reach
done.
out though to other community, to other groups other than Sean Sweeney?
No, as far as block associations, just Sean.
Who's over?
This is a pretty quiet area in Hudson Square. There aren't that many block associations over there. And so we,
Anybody else from the committee, Cormac?
Yeah, I just had one other question about this. And it's a broader question. This is, these are the hours that the previous place had, right? So did they fit your business model or are you just taking them for that reason? Right? No, they fit your business model because this is what I'm trying to get at. We have a bunch of, we've had this terrible thing's been going on lately where people come back like a year, 18 months or whatever later, and they're like, now I want later hours. And it's like, I want to make sure it's like, if you're thinking I'm just going to get later hours in a step 2, I'd like people to be upfront with it now. So, but
No, I
if you're
mean,
thinking this is what you're good with.
this space wasn't chosen for the hours. This space was chosen actually because Alex and the owners of Pine and Polk know each other and they have a good synergy and the places kind of mesh as far as the construction of the place. However, I will say just, I guess for the record, that this committee and other committees in New York City have said that, if you want later hours, find previously licensed spaces as opposed to unlicensed spaces, or if you want 4 a.m., find a grandfathered place.
I'm not saying that you can't come back,
Right.
or something like that. I'm saying if your plan is to come back, I want people to be upfront. with it.
No, this is, our plan is 12 and 1. Yeah. I can't stipulate to the future, who knows what it will hold, but, right, but this is our plan.
So this in the past had been a restaurant and now it's just a cocktail bar. What experience do you have running a bar in New York?
Like I said, she brought on a team of many consultants, chefs, operators from some of the most decorated places around the world.
Well, that's great, but I'm asking,
But
Sure.
actually,
That's-
Alex came. It would be nice for her to even just talk
Sure.
about
Yeah,
what her
yeah.
plan is. Yeah, because she's here.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Alex. So I don't have much experience in the hospitality industry, but my concept is so I'm
Bill,
Norwegian.
put the microphone down.
Sorry,
So,
I
yeah.
can.
Yeah,
get that down.
Thanks.
I'm trying to bring a little bit of my heritage and my tradition into the West Village and Soho area. I live in the West Village. I actually live in 10 Morton Street as well. But so this is kind of like I didn't speak up, but it's been a passion project and kind of a dream for a very long time. And so I am getting the help from people that I think are some of the best in the business to help my dream come true. And just on your hours, I'm not trying to create a sort of rowdy cocktail bar. It's kind of bringing like this Nordic heritage, a place that is really special to me, into try and get other people to experience and acknowledge that as well. And you should trust the people I'm working with are amazing. They're really talented and great.
I guess I'm just worried. I mean, are you going to be there every day? Are you going to be
Every day.
part? Because I mean, it says you're going to have a manager and these are the things that we typically see is that bars with managers without the owners present are generally the ones that end up having issues.
I will be there every day. I live a 10-minute walk away.
Good. Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye. Okay, the next application is going to be West 10 West LLC, doing business as West 10 West, 242 West 10th on premise restaurant. This is a class change from a restaurant wine.
And I just, for the chair, for the record, there were some things on the application that they didn't know. It is an 1860 building. I'll give you a note on all this. There's 6 floors, not 5, that kind of thing, so.
Yeah. Oh, that, I didn't bother. Oh, thank you, Cormac. Okay. Does somebody have one? I just need one for the office for them to scan. I don't need it right now, but I'll take it just so I can make sure.
This is an application, first, I'm Terrence Flynn. Happy New Year. This
Okay.
is an.
Terry?
Yeah.
Just to move on forward.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Is that better? Okay.
Yes, much better.
So this application is for 242 West 10th Street. It's a small restaurant, total occupancy of about 30. There's 7 tables, 16 seats, 1 bar with 8 seats. There's an outdoor area with the sidewalk, which we'd like to have, which is right in front of the premise, which would be 3 tables and 6 seats. And if a road bed is permitted, they wanted to have 6 tables and 16 seats. This previous stip that we entered into when we had the wine and beer license, we're willing to agree to all of the terms in that, with one exception, that we had 10 PM on Sunday through Wednesday, and we're finding that our diners it's hard to get them out by before 10:30 or so. So we'd like it if that could be 11 PM. It's background music only. I have Mr. Reynolds here, who's not only the owner, but also the chef, who's there every day and in the kitchen. And we're simply looking to move to a full on-premise license at the location.
And I'm gonna start with just asking what's changed, because it was only a year ago when he was here before with the restaurant wine, with talking to the community, with telling them it was a restaurant wine, that there would be no outside, and that these hours were good. So I'm asking preemptively.
The only thing that's
just
changed
what-
with regard to the hours is, like I said, they have people coming in at 9:30, looking to sit down, and to get them out in a half hour is just, it's not possible. So they were just looking for that till 11 o'clock, which I also put in the packet. You can see all the places around them and all the hours that they have. And 11 PM is almost everybody else's closing out.
So he's looking for 11 PM Sunday, just to Thursday,
And
And
what he
12
stipulated before, yes.
Friday and Saturday. Not changing Thursday to.
No, no, no.
That's
just-
what was on, that's what's on the questionnaire. It said 12 on Thursday, so I'm just wanting to
No,
clarify
yeah,
that.
all he wants to change is the 11 PM during the week.
So you want 11 Sunday to Wednesday,
Correct.
and then why do we need the on-premise? It was only a year ago when this was a restaurant wine that the community was okay with because of the hours and the restaurant wine and no outdoors. So what we're doing is this is what I need to hear. We're increasing from a restaurant wine to an on-premise, and this was a previously unlicensed location before this license occurred. And you're increasing the hours, and there's a road bed out there, and you want a road bed and you want a sidewalk. So a lot of that is everything that is exactly what the community did not want when you came originally, and that's what you're asking for, if I understand correctly
yes.
tonight.
So
So,
let me take each one. The only difference is closing at 11 instead of 10 on those hours, which
Mhm.
everybody else around closes at 11. The reason for the upgrade to full liquor is because we have customers asking us for drinks. They're asking for liquor drinks. They're coming in for dinner. They want to have liquor drinks. None of the operation is changed as far as this being food centric, Ryan being in the kitchen and there every day. Because he has other people in the neighborhood who have the outside element, and when we were here the first time, we knew the outside element was not applicable. For one reason was we knew they were changing the rules with regard to the city street.
but he has the outside. He put I'm just gonna,
No, he does not. That's,
he has a road bed sitting outside the restaurant. That's not your road.
that's
bed.
not his. It's not their road
Who's
bed.
ro-
That's the tea shop next.
It's the tea
that's the
shop.
So that's not your road bed?
No,
And it's been raised before, and I've reiterated that a number of times, but people are not listening, that it's not.
yeah, we actually got complaints that we had to go, the SLA raised that same issue with us and we had to show the SLA. It's not us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not us at all. So I know that was raised, but it's not ours and we don't have any control of it. and we don't operate it at all.
It's in front of your space, isn't
I
it?
know, but
Yeah.
there's many. like,
It's all the same
outdoor spaces.
building.
It's nothing to do with us. It's not.
They don't operate, it encroaches in front of
It
the
does,
space in
if I
the
walk
street.
by on my way down
Right,
here
but
tonight.
it's not ours. It's the tea shops.
Okay. All right, that answers that.
So with regard to the outside space that he wants, he understands that's what he wanted. What he would prefer to do is just take the 6 seats, which would be a sidewalk cafe area, and then he would forego the roadbed at all, which again, he may not be able to, only because these people are encroaching in front of his place anyway. So those are the minor changes that are involved here. It's basically the extra time on Sunday through Wednesday, so he can service the people coming in, provide full drinks to people who are asking for it on a constant basis, but the hours, other hours are all the same. The operation is same. He's there every day. And then, of course, he would like, if he can have those 6 seats in front that represent a sidewalk cafe.
And what time would they close? If he were to
Your
have
standard
that?
hours of 10 and 11, which you always
Or 10?
have us agree to.
The standard is 10 there.
10, fine.
It's, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, open it up to the committee for questions. Cormac.
Yeah, what time are you currently closing? On, Sundays through, Thursdays?
We try and have everybody out by 10, but there have been a few occasions where it was 10:15 or 10:25 because they just had to finish. Even people who sat at 9 o'clock weren't finished by 10.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is because, on the internet, if you go on Google, Yelp, or any of those apps, it all says that the hours are till 11.
Yeah.
And when you go to the actual site for the restaurant, the hours are specified every night as 4:30 PM till late, which in the context and given, as you know, what a huge issue it was, the hours in that 10 o'clock hour with the community, it seems a little bit
Directed.
deliberately ambiguous, right?
No, that's what the website, is that from the website? Or is that
The website for this restaurant says 4:30.
I can get my web designer to update it. Honestly, like getting updates on the website can take time and just like,
Yeah.
I'm not speaking it. Yeah, I can get my web designer to literally update that as of today. But the problem is like they are really delayed and they're slow, but as I give something like an urgent matter, I can get them to do it.
Right, but I said that in the first place.
Like there's other things in terms of like certain dishes that I put on the menu that he got wrong as well. So like there is errors across the website, and probably if he's been lazy and he's not put individual days down as well. And I know you also mentioned Yelp. Yelp is actually not managed by the restaurant.
No, I understand that. I'm saying you don't control Yelp or Google. I'm just saying that you go across all of those other apps. They all say 11.
Yeah.
Which may not be you, but then I go to yours for correct information.
Yeah.
And it says late. And in the context, and it says late when these others,
10 is right.
that looks bad. Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely get update. I can message him about that and get that updated. That's not an issue at all.
And Katie? So I'm sufficiently confused about the hours. Is it Monday through Thursday, close at 11, Saturday and Sunday at 12? Is that what you're now saying?
Yes, Sunday, I think you left out Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday through
Thursday.
Thursday of the week, and then the weekend are the hour later at midnight. Yeah.
Friday and Saturday. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So, can you describe the anticipated private parties that were checked off?
To date, we haven't had any, but we anticipate next year by the holidays, if everything improves, we may have people come in and ask for a Christmas party again. It's only 20 some odd seats, so it's not huge, but we wanted the flexibility to have it, but we haven't had any yet.
It's also forced seating as well, because we actually designed booths that can't be removed. So most private events, it's only it would be a dining experience. So there's no way that anyone's gonna rent out the restaurant to do stand-up because it's a pretty small restaurant as it is. So yeah, it's all seated, so it would need to be like a prefixed dining experience.
Okay, okay. You don't have a certificate of occupancy and you don't intend to get one according to your questionnaire or provide one.
So we have filed for it.
You have
Okay.
objection, yeah.
Explaining that there's been delays with the building department, but it says you can have it very shortly. They have applied for one and no objection. The architect has assured them that they will be able to get them from this group 6 at the location.
And can you explain how you're gonna fit the Sidewalk Cafe? I mean, I walk on 10th Street every day. I don't know I don't see any dimensions here.
They measured, so from where the end of the last table would be with a divider is over 8 feet to the curb. So
Okay,
they-
it would be nice if we could have seen that in the packet. It's a little
I can have
crazy.
them update that for you. That would be over 8 feet, and then in front, it's only 3 tables, 2 seats. It's small. It's not big. It's six occupancy out there.
Okay, so in the future, I mean, it's a little crazy. You've given us a very crazy Xerox. I mean, I did look at it.
The online.
Just for future reference, please. And what's the story about the door between the building and the basement storage? A constant refrain.
The story between the what? sorry?
On one of the plans that I saw online, is there access between your storage area and the building basement?
There is storage in the basement,
And
yeah.
how do you get there? That's what
Oh, it's through like a trap door. Whatever that's called. What's it called?
Hatch?
Yeah.
In the
And,
side,
and there's no door that goes from that storage into the building area?
No.
Okay. Brian?
Thank you. Yeah, so I did measure the sidewalk. It's 8 feet 4 inches, and that means there's no room for any seating on the sidewalk because that is the minimum required clear space for pedestrians to walk by.
So we actually had someone from the recreational, or whoever does the outdoor dining situation, they came this summer and said we could do it if we actually wanted to do it. And he brought out his measuring tape and he was like, yeah, you can definitely actually do this. So we haven't done it, but he said to us that we can actually do it.
well. I'm
Well,
not
the
committing to
sidewalk is
the
only 8 feet wide.
Right.
That is one of the stipulations for access on sidewalk. And the distance between
This is a lot simple for 6 seats. I don't want to, I know you're going to be here a long time. Just will negate all outside areas in
Yeah,
this application.
I think that's
That's
a
fine.
wise thing, and if you
There's no-
want it, you can come back for that, and if you
That's
ever
fine. If we
had it, it would
if we
close
need
at
to
10
measure it,
o'clock.
We might come back, but
And we'll agree now that if you were to come back, it closes at 10 o'clock.
no, I understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Patrol outside areas.
Okay. Because you can't file for outside now anyway. Anybody else down there before I go down here? Okay, Cormac.
Hey, so great. I want to come back to the shed for a minute. So when you filed for the letter of no objection, you communicate presumably with the landlord and things over doing that, right? So what I'm wondering is, have you raised the issue of the shed that is in front of your property with the landlord?
The landlord knows of it, and he allows the business to have that.
Right.
Again, it's
Because
not.
I need his
It's got
authorization.
nothing, it's got nothing to do with me. So honestly, I don't go into it. I'm more focused on my restaurant.
Right. And is the tea shop actively using that outdoor?
I believe, well, we're also different hours, right? They're a tea shop. They're open from early in the morning
Right.
until,
But in the evenings, it's not being used because they're not open.
no, they're definitely, it's definitely not being used what I can see. Then, but I think they close around 8 or similar.
Right.
Yeah.
And have you raised with them your concerns about the fact that it's in front of your place?
No, because
Okay.
I honestly like it's a good looking Kabin, and I've seen some of the awful looking ones around the city. So like for me, it's attractive. So it's not, and we don't have like a big banner above our restaurant. It's very kind of discreet, and people love it as like a cute neighborhood spot. So I'm not trying to advertise anything. It's not blocking anything, so I don't mind.
Okay, wanted to make sure I got the picture. Thank you.
Okay, got it, Carter.
So on December 6th of last year, actually 2 years ago, December 6th, 2022, you met with the local neighborhood association. They clearly have some differences from what you'd represented at that time. So what's changed? Have you talked to them since then?
Well, I think they thought it was a bar festival, even though I kind of like showed that it was a restaurant, and you can read from over 100 of our reviews in terms of we're a restaurant. I know someone previously said some of the chefs that they've got in the kitchen. We've got like people from 11 Madison as well, and our food's been pretty great. You can check out our Instagram in terms of like how many people enjoy our food.
Well, but that's not what I'm saying. You told them that you were going to be a beer and wine license.
Yeah.
That you represented certain hours.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have anything outside.
Yeah.
And
Is so we can serve customers who come in there, and the other places that we've given you on the list, everybody has a lot of fun.
I'm talking about full liquor as well. No, but.
So why we're doing this now?
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly enough restaurants in Community Board 2 to serve all of our residents, plus all the visitors that we have. We're not lacking.
I think a lot of feedback.
We need to use the microphones. Terry, please.
As you know, while you're cumulative, obviously, everybody could say 20 restaurants, 30 restaurants, whatever it is. It's not the number of restaurants, but it's the food he's providing, the experience he's providing within the place, which has gone over extremely well within the community and everyone who's been there. And that's why you have the reviews that we gave you real quick. It's the unique effort he puts in the kitchen himself, making the meals, going out to the tables, making sure everybody's enjoying their meal while dinner is going on, interacting with the customers. It's a unique dining experience that he's providing that not everybody or not all the rest of the restaurants do.
I mean, I guess I just feel that our community is well served.
That you're entitled to feel that way, and I can't change the way you feel about that, but it's also looked at as what type of experience each place is providing to decide whether or not it would be in the public interest.
Well, it's a number, class, and character, right? The licensed premises, not only in the area, but also in the municipality or subdivision, which is
Right.
Community Board. We have plenty. And that's what our neighborhood group is going to say.
I understand. I've given you the
because
answer.
They supported this initially based on the fact of the whole package, and that it wasn't a.
The only thing that's different in this application is that he's going to 11 o'clock during the week so he could service the people who are
He's
coming in.
upgrading to an on-premise.
And
license.
that's what I'm gonna say, and he's upgrading. Those are the only two differences in this situation. So I understand, but he's operated without any incidents. Him having the ability to give somebody an alcohol drink who's eating their dinner, I don't see how that presents any problem for the premise or the neighborhood. He showed that he runs the place properly. He's involved. He's there every day. And he's intimately involved in the operation of the premise. This is what he does.
What, Carter, you don't have a speaker. Needs a microphone. He's trying to shut him down.
It's been vacant, but it's formerly, I believe, some type of beauty shop or.
Apparently,
Retail.
no one really knows what it actually truly was, but hair salon, beauty store.
Right, so you pushed out a local business.
No. It was unoccupied for at least 2 years.
But it's a space that's properly sized for small businesses.
Carter, that's a very unfair statement you just made. Nobody pushed out anybody. What happened here was he found a vacant space for somebody already.
No, I understand, but these are locations that are traditionally retail in our community.
It's, if it's vacant, it's not anything. We took a vacant space.
You're right.
And
And next time you come and say a pre-existing licensed location, we'll say it doesn't count either. So, sorry, but
Okay.
that's, but we have enough licenses is the point.
Okay, okay, so that's the point. All right, so now we've got some people here from the public to speak on this, so I'm gonna go to them. Nancy Paisley, Augustine Hope, if you wanna come up.
Okay, thank you. Nancy Paisley again. I will try to keep my cool on this one. But I want to say that this applicant has, for me, zero credibility. I see this, in words of one syllable, as a bait and switch operation. When we talk to these people, what was there before, immediately before, was a clothing shop. Very nice little clothing shop. They couldn't meet ends meet, but it was dry retail. It was serving the neighborhood. We don't have a lot of those in the neighborhood. We do have a lot of licensed premises. But these people came to us, they said, well, we're going to have this lovely little operation. It's going to be grill, fine food, nothing outside. Now, all of a sudden they want outside. All of a sudden they want liquor. Their original letter to us, we will operate as a cafe by day with breakfast and lunch service, along with takeaway coffee. And night we will have dinner service from 5 p.m. on. Well, we have a lot of dinner service from 5 p.m. on. We don't have a lot of breakfast and lunch. Frankly, that was part of my personal willingness to support this application, as well as having it be limited to beer and wine, as well as a firm promise not to have anything outside where there is no space for it anyway. And as far as that cabin quote on the street that belongs to the tea shop next door, which is, guess what? Owned and operated by a co-principal in the space. It is owned and operated by Margaret Ingala, who we met. So for this fellow to stand up and say, it's nothing to do with me, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. There is no reason to give, they have been in business for not even a year. They have trouble closing by 11 because they advertise that they're open till 11. Come on. Bottom line, I urge you to reject this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's right here on the application. Her first name is Margaret, Marigit, Ingala, Ingalla. She operates the business next door, and we talked with her and with Mr. Ryan when we talked about their opening this place a year ago.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Augustine Hope, West Village Residents Association. Yeah, it's a bait and switch. This is happening to us constantly, that somebody moves into a previously unlicensed space and get wine and beer, and then upgrade a year or two later to liquor licenses. Now, I live on Hudson Street. We've become a carnival street. There's at least 20 OP licenses within 500 foot of this space. People are now coming down to our neighborhood on bar crawls. So I understand he doesn't consider himself a bar, but this in essence is what is happening to our neighborhood. Traditional dry goods, small businesses are being pushed out, if not by Mr. Flynn, then by the pressure of having these liquor licenses in our neighborhood. So I think if they did get lucky with the community and have them support an application for beer and wine, I think they should stick with the beer and wine. I think they should stick with the hours they've had. And failing that, I think they should go in front of the committee here and the State Liquor Authority. And we've talked to Lily Fan, Chair Lily Fan, recently about oversaturation in our area. And I think they should actually make a case for why having a liquor license here is not in their interest, those in the public interest. So I urge you to deny this as it stands. And let's have it out with the State Liquor Authority.
Thank you. I don't think there's anybody else here on this. Okay, does Terry? Go.
Yeah, just very briefly. I don't want to belabor any points. I mean, clearly this is not a bar, but it's a restaurant. Anybody could see that by going in there for the operation.
Make sure you use the microphone.
With regard to the dry goods, look, this is the world economy that we're in. Smaller stores that don't have profit margins like others can't afford to pay these rents. The landlords put up the rents. That's what they do. We have a space that we find, it's there, it's vacant. We go forward with the application. Nobody is intending to bait and switch anybody. There's a process that we have to go through when we come here there's a process that we have to go through when we come to you. We have to give you notification. We have to make our application. As you all know, the previous attorney said it, applications now at the SLA are taking 10+ months, okay? They came to you with a wine and beer license to get the wine and beer license and to operate, and that's the way they've operated. They've had people ask them because they wanted the full liquor license. They want to have the drinks. They've come to you now, since they've been approved, only because if they keep waiting, it's going to take that time plus the 10 months and so on and so forth. So nobody's trying to bait and switch.
Well,
just let me reply and then you can go.
No, go ahead.
And if we were trying to do something, I wouldn't even have come here, but I came here because it's part of the process and it's what we're supposed to do in order to get the license. Now, if you say no, he stays a beer and wine license and does what he does. And if he wanted to, he could go to the SLA and let them ultimately make the determination, but it's the process that we have to follow. But they're not trying to bait and switch anybody. It's just the process.
The
Yes.
only thing I'm just gonna say to
Yeah.
that, and then Cormac, I'll let you go, is just, we've had a number of people, because the SLA is taking so long, that come to us and say, we want the OP, but we're doing the restaurant wine now, and we'll be back, but this is how we have to handle this process. I don't know what his intent, I'm not going to speak for him, but I'm not really speaking for the residents, but I'm quite sure what the residents thought he wanted in perpetuity, at least for a few years, was the restaurant wine that he presented to them. Not, this is different from what some of these other things because of the liquor authority has done. So that's my response to the thing about how long it takes.
And I agree with you, except for the fact that he's been open now and he's getting constantly asked for liquor drinks.
Okay.
Residents as well. It's actually like
From
there's
other-
a number of residents within the building above. It's like Roger Graham, who lives upstairs. He's like 90.
That's fine,
He
but
comes down every day.
he's not here and he didn't write it.
When
Right,
can I
just-
get an
just-
Okay.
So just so we're clear on that point, it's driven by demand. And that's what the request is for. And yes, it's more profitable to have full liquor. So we're not going to deny that, but that's what it's driven by.
So Terry, that's all fine. I take that as read. Can you just clarify something? Is it true that the shed that I was just told has nothing to do with this and everything like that is owned and operated by one of the principals of this establishment?
It's owned by her sister is what. I was
By her
told.
sister.
By
The
her
sister owns a tea shop.
Yeah, Kim.
Kim at a Gator, I think its name is, but she owns the tea shop.
Okay, not your partner.
But again, it has nothing to do with me. I don't get involved with anything else other than my restaurant.
Sure, but you're not just the restaurant. Your partners in the restaurant are also the restaurant. It has something to do with them. So,
No, but
I know
he's
that. I'm
straightforward
not
with that.
asking him to.
Right. No. And it's.
I'm asking for transparency. Is what I'm
and
asking for.
I didn't know, and he just told me it's not my partner, it's my partner's sister.
Now, here's another thing that I want to ask about, because as Nancy was testifying, it brought to mind, I remember distinctly this out, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, right? My memory's not that bad at my age, right?
I'm happy.
Breakfast and lunch and coffee and that That was a big selling point about it, that you were gonna be open during the day, neighborhood thing, people could come in and stand out. I remember that distinctly being talked about by your client, being talked up about this thing. All right, I understand you here, you want to change hours, you want to change full liquor, but what happened to that?
I no, you can speak to it, but I don't.
So even if you check our website, so we actually have a partnership with Onyx, which is regarded as the #1 roaster in North America right now and globally as well, actually. So I would love to, I have a passion for coffee. I would love to get to a point where we are offering coffee and a lunch menu as well. Honestly, it's one step at a time. Like, I would love to do that right now, but it also means additional investment in terms of hiring additional staff, especially staff as well. Some in terms of like baristas, it's pretty hard to come by in terms of New York. And people might say that there's coffee shops on every corner, but it's not the coffee that I want to be able to offer people. We're fortunate to be exposed to incredible coffee around the world. And I want to make sure that we offer that similar level. So yeah, you would actually see on our website that we speak to that as well, and we still have a plan to open that.
So currently you open at 4:30, but you're telling me you plan to expand those hours to earlier in the day as you go forward.
Yeah, but that's not for liquor, that's for coffee.
Right, no, I understand, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is your website says your establishment opens at 4:30, but you
Yeah.
plan to be open earlier in the future is what I'm hearing you.
Hopefully at some point, in all honesty, but like, there's not like, we don't have enough pieces in place to even put a date on it right now.
Mhm.
I would love to be able to offer coffee during the day, but like the reality is like, we don't have one staff, we don't have additional revenue to push into that, because also like, you need to market that as well. In terms of how many coffee shops, bakeries, areas, etc. within the village, it's a very competitive market, and we'd have to spend money to get people there. So yeah, I would love to have it at some point, but I know we can't do it right now.
So can I just do one thing, or go ahead, Carter?
I was just gonna say.
Are you gonna read from the question?
Yeah, I'm just gonna read your original questionnaire. It says, we are two local neighbors of CB2, one of which is also a small business owner in the West Village, who are opening a dining establishment focusing on serving our community first and foremost. We hope to operate as a daytime cafe offering takeaway coffee service, as well as a menu for seated breakfast and lunch until 3 p.m. Dining service will reopen at 5 p.m. for seated dinner, offering beer and wine with meals. This was your business plan, and you haven't even done it. And that's what you presented to us. You don't even open until 4.
No, it says there that the.
Please use the microphone. I'm begging you.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Donna. No, it says that he hopes to have the lunch service and do it, which is his intention and where he wants to go with the whole operation.
That was what from what this description is, this is what he sold, not where he wanted to go. He didn't, this does not read as though somebody's opening a dinner establishment hoping to expand to lunch service. The description that we were given when he came here before was a daytime cafe. Now it's being transported to a Paris cafe with a wide selection of wine, cocktails, and tapas that will rotate seasonally. And a mixologist will carefully craft the cocktails with unique flavors and twists to some classics. You can understand why the people in the community feel like this is a bait and switch, because this description is very different from the description that was on the questionnaire when he came and got their support.
I understand completely. I understand.
Katie?
Okay, so I don't want to use relationships. I want to use names. On this application, it says that the principals that you gave us today are Ryan Reynolds and Margaret Ngala. What is the name of the person who owns the tea shop?
Her sister's name is Kim, I believe it's Allegado, Alegado, I believe is.
Alegado,
Alegado, I believe is the spell.
yeah. Okay, so Kim, but so
Yes.
Kim
Nice.
is Margaret's sister.
Yes.
Okay, does Ryan have a non-business relationship to Ms. Ngala? I mean, are they just business partners or is she some related to you somehow?
Do you have a personal relation with Mary Queen, or is she just your partner? She's just his business partner.
Valid question.
No person. He can answer.
Yeah, okay, so
She's just my business partner.
is she involved in the business of the tea shop as well?
I
And-
don't, I can't speak on behalf of like her businesses. She has Rose Crayons, and that's I don't know if you guys have heard of that spot. That's one of the biggest reasons why I partnered with her, because she has experience of running hospitality within the West Village.
So, Donna, Nancy and Augustin think that Margaret is in both businesses.
I mean,
I don't know.
can't answer, good, yeah. Okay, does anybody else have anything? That's for business discussion, yeah. Anybody? No. Okay, I think we're good. Thank you. Okay. The next application is going to be 1NK LLC, doing business as Bisou, 112 Sixth Avenue, on premise for a bar tavern. This is another class change. Anything different? No, okay.
This is everything that was submitted.
Okay, great. Then I don't need anything. No.
Sorry, which one is it?
1NK LLC, Bisou.
I'm sorry?
114 Sixth Avenue. I was just telling them where it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry, yes, thank you.
That address appears to be.
Yeah, the building address is 110 through 114 is the entire building address. And she was just designated on her lease as 114. So this is a premise that's been in operation for over a year, or let me be correct. It's, I think, 10 days short of a year, okay? They have 7 tables with 22 seats, 1 bar with 9 stools. It closes at midnight. It's background music only. Friday and Saturday is 1 a.m. They have an outdoor area that was approved by you for the sidewalk cafe area. They gave a stip. They are in agreement to everything that was in the previous stip that was executed. The only thing they're looking for is, again, to upgrade to a full liquor because of the fact that people keep asking them for drinks. Everything else in this application is exactly the same.
So I would just like some clarification on what I'm seeing as a diagram for the sidewalk, because
Sure.
it looks like some of it is by the building and then there's a walkway and then there's some by the curbside, or is that not the case, or?
The sidewalk itself is about, I believe, 27 feet. So we've kind of sectioned it off with flower pots to provide that area for the tables.
And then where is the through path where people walk? Is it by the curb or is it in
To
between?
get into the door, you mean?
No, to go past your space, continue on down the street.
This is outside.
Yeah, so actually, this got cut off. I apologize for that, but so this is right where the tables are, and then over here, we still have about 18 feet of sidewalk that's in front of and it's buried off with the flower pots.
Okay, so they're not walking, you don't have seats by the curbside is my point. Well, I know, that's why, so my confusion, Tara, here, see, this is my confusion.
Okay.
Is, it looks like there's tables here, and it looks like there's a clear path here, and it looks like,
We actually have, that actually just has barriers here. And then this is all sidewalk here.
so that's what it looked like, and this doesn't show all of the tables, because it cut off. Okay, all right. So that's what it looked like, okay. that answers. So the one thing I'm going to say is the stipulations. I think what it was supposed to be outside is 14 seats and not 20 seats. That's one thing that was in the stipulations from before.
Yeah, we can live with 14. I know that we're primarily, French wine, so we kind of like to do the two top too. And we can fit in a couple more. So if it was possible, we would love to be able to fit in just a couple more two tops, but if not, we can be satisfied.
At 11. Okay. Okay. Oh, does anybody have any questions for the Cormac? Cormac, the microphone.
I have a question, maybe Terry, you know the answer to this, I mean. The planters that are used, that they're using, is that my understand, I thought that you were only supposed to have tables and chairs as part of outdoor dining.
No, I thought you could use them as a border to show the border of, the border of the
Okay,
space.
I
mean.
I don't know the
if it's
answer.
Problematic. I thought they were okay. If it's problematic,
Right.
they can be removed. I think it makes it clear as to where everything starts and begins. That way you don't have any problems.
Do they get pulled into the building at night? That's what the problem is. I mean, that's.
They get pulled up to the side of the building, but I will say that when the SLA gave us our, what we needed to come back with, they actually asked us to show barriers. Yes.
They're not in charge of that, the SLA, but still.
Okay, and is there a full kitchen here or? No,
There's a
it's
kitchen. but
tavern, it's
there's
not a full
kitchen.
kitchen.
There's a kitchen, but it is not a flame kitchen. It's an electric kitchen. So it's not open flame, but the full menu that they have and they've always had has been done with an electric kitchen.
Okay, anybody else from the committee? Brian?
So I see that, at least tonight, those barriers are out further than the neighbors. Looks like an enclosed sidewalk cafe next door to you. Is that correct? That your barriers come out closer to the street than your neighbor's sidewalk enclosure?
They come out as far as that enclosure sits, I believe.
No, I'm saying what I observed tonight was that your barriers are about 3 feet closer to the street. In other words, encroaching on the sidewalk more than your neighbor's enclosure.
Is that from a picture where there's?
No, that's from my
Walking by.
going there. Yes, I have a picture as well. I took some pictures, but that's what I observed. So
So
your diagram in the package does not show the sidewalk seating as either you intend it to be or that may qualify as meeting the regulations.
yes, it's a very wide curb. And normally our neighbors have even a table outside of that sheltered seating during the summertime. So we usually aren't that far past that, but we can pull it back in if needed to.
Okay, so
27.
Yeah, that
Just,
sidewalk is 27 feet, just so
Yeah.
you're aware.
Yeah,
in front.
it looks like you still have 8 feet.
Yes,
I'm just, since you have not documented the sidewalk, the seating, the obstructions, the service aisle, all those things that would be needed, we have to go by.
yeah,
Just-
but this was approved in the last application, but we can give you a clearer diagram tomorrow with measurements if you
think-
want.
Since we don't, this was approved under the temporary program.
Yes.
So there was no sidewalk cafe there before that was approved by DCA. And we don't have the new rules out yet, and we're not sure exactly what the new rules will be. And you may not, just because it's it may be more than 8 feet that you're required to leave. It may be, who knows?
I agree.
So,
We would have to be in compliance
You
and
will have
whatever
to
it
be in
is.
compliance with
Yeah,
that.
we'll agree to that. We'll be in
And-
compliance. If they push it back,
um, and all of our stipulations are saying
Mhm.
to come back for permanent, once we know what that is, who know, you know. we can
yeah,
always debate
once,
that, but
once we know
once
and we can tell you for sure that we're definitely,
But we'll stick to the, it's at 11 o'clock closing. We'll-
everything in that stipulation.
Okay. Anybody, Katie? Are you gonna speak on this card? Okay.
Harry, we're just reminding you, because we are taping, so it's so important to speak into the mic for the tape. It's just, it's not, we're not hounding you personally.
It's okay.
Okay, so I do have two questions, and one is to describe the private party business, which I see you said on the, your application.
Twice a month.
And is that the whole place or is it just a portion?
Usually it's the whole, when it's a private party, it's.
Answer the question.
Okay. It's usually once or twice a month. We get a lot of requests and they're usually just like engagement parties or, you know, celebrating a birthday of some sort. And, you know, we've kind of missed out on the opportunity because of that, of having the wine and beer, because people sometimes like a cocktail too in a private party situation. And sorry, what was the?
Well, I mean, how often do you sell out the whole restaurant for one of these events?
Once or twice a month.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those are full sellouts.
So would you be willing to say not more than 24 times a year or?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. And the second question is, I'm looking at your petitions. I don't see what you told people. It doesn't say anything that I could see on these petitions about, well, it says full liquor license, but it doesn't say hours or outdoor seating, and some of it doesn't even say full liquor license.
You're
There is-
100% right. Those were gathered by her and staff, and there was not a formal petition done, but they wanted to include them to at least show there was further outreach than there was, okay? And we also sent the email, you have the email in there that we sent to Sean Sweeney. So.
Okay, Carter? Microphone, please.
So this summer, this is a video that we got from a complaint. You can see all this outdoor dining that you have. I'm just wondering if you could tell us what was going on, to all that outdoor dining.
Can I come talk to you?
Of course, yeah.
To clarify for the rest of the committee, Carter is showing a video that shows the outdoor dining footprint exceeding the width of the space by a lot.
Where is that video?
And there's significantly extra tables and chairs. I mean, and you have stacks of extra stuff.
Don't, the feeling. No.
See, this is your space.
This-
Right here.
no.
You shouldn't go over.
I mean,
Brought up to our attention and we took care of it. Yes, this was actually brought to our attention and, you know, we were excuse me. We had this brought to our attention. I spoke to the woman personally and we took care of it immediately and did not set it out again after that.
Okay, do it. No, I just wanted to see it. I don't.
Okay. No,
No,
I'll
it's all right.
I'll just send it to her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Fortunately, the modern age is such that I can do that.
Or put it in the drive.
I'll let you do that. But you also, just today, it seems that you have more tables and chairs stacked up than 14 seats. I mean, is that not?
We actually just purchased a storage unit and we haven't really had the second to take those chairs and everything. So they've always been kind of stacked to the side there and we pull them in at night, but we're actually not ever using them.
Okay.
It's a big stack.
Okay, public, I'm going to go to the public now. Were you going? I mean, you were standing up, Darlene. Okay. And then fill out the speaker card, please, when you're done.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Darlene Lutz. I am a resident of the West Soho, where this is located in. I'm also a member of the First Precinct Community Council. This is right around the corner, and P.S. I already filled out a card.
Oh, okay.
I already filled out a card, sorry. I know you, thank you for all your time, and Happy New Year. I am the woman of all videos, and I have many more. During the summer, we were really trying to figure out what was going on in our neighborhood with open dining, because everything was in flux and change, and, that stretch became a focal point because Lupe's is on the corner. They've been there for almost 30 years now. This space that Bisou is in, that was unlicensed. That was an unlicensed space until they came in about 18 months ago. On the corner was a deli that we lost during a long time deli that we lost. That looks like it's going to be a weed store. So over last summer, and I believe I actually supported this beer wine, and I had no problem with it staying beer wine. And according to the manager who I spoke with, he was like, I don't want alcohol to come in here because that brings us such a bad kind of person. Alcohol changes the whole dynamic. But they were just, there were 20 tables out there, 40 seats. I mean, no one inside. It was, last summer, it was like, it felt like the breaking point. We had been through so many, years, it felt like an eternity with COVID, shut up and sit down. Our businesses got to succeed. Your quality of life doesn't matter. You don't matter. Only the businesses matter. And, we tried to keep, as much lid as we could on it. So yeah, I had the cops go by there. And also the owner, or one of the other owners, or I don't know what his position is, it got into a confrontation with someone in my building who was eating at Lupe's, and there's no they were outside. He was smoking outside in Bisou. They asked him to stop. It turned into a confrontation, a physical confrontation. And yes, the police were involved. We've tried to keep all of this, I've tried to tell people, call 311, put in 311 complaints. By last summer, I was just like, I got my guys. I know guys at the First Precinct. I can text them and ask them to come and handle something at this point. And that's what I'm doing, because it's just too much. It's, the amount of just trying to contain a bit of quality of life feels almost insurmountable. And it's the winter now, and we all have a little breathing room. It's just been the holidays, and I would have been better prepared had I looked at the calendar. I did not expect it. I thought this would probably be on SLA 1. So it was like, oh my God. So I didn't come prepared. Anyway, that's it. I have no problem again with them keeping as is, and also keeping their tables to what they said they were, which I asked them to do.
Thank you.
We don't know anything about the incident with the smoking or any argument that took place, so that's all we can say with that.
Okay. Anybody else from the committee? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. You've been very patient. Thank you.
Okay, the next application is Amo Restaurant Corp., 15 East 12th Street. It's a new on-premise for a restaurant. Is there anything new in this from what you put into the office? Is there anything, has anything been added to this other than what you sent in to the office? Okay, okay. No, then I don't need it. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? Good evening.
Good.
My name is Rosario Procino, is Pasquale Cozzolino, and we are here to transfer license from an existing restaurant on 15 East 12. We are in an agreement to purchase their assets and moving forward with opening up a small Italian restaurant, family-based, neighborhood-based. Been doing this for over 15 years in the village. He's a very worldwide known chef. Simple, simple Italian restaurant, mostly seafood based. Nothing planning to change to the existing operations. It's an existing liquor license as of right now, trying to run the same hours. Nothing major different from the way it is right now in terms of operation. Definitely a different way of doing and a different menu, but pretty much everything as it is right now with the existing operator in terms of hours, traffic.
So what are the hours?
I think right now is 10:30 PM
that
during
we
the week
talked about? I don't know if you, so they close at 10:30?
and
that
11 on the
everybody-
11:30 on the weekend.
Okay, so that's all customers out. That means all patrons are out by that time. It's not last call. I'm just saying if those are the hours. And this is going to be Italian,
Yes, seafood based, but mostly Italian.
okay, and it's 23 tables, 46 seats, and one bar with 8 seats, so that's 54.
Correct.
Background music,
Just background music,
no TV.
no TVs,
Is there any outside seating?
no outdoor seating.
And is there a rear yard or?
Right now, they have access to a rear yard, but it's related to asking permission to the existing tenant at the apartment. So it's something that we are not pursuing at the moment. They were using up to this summer. The tenants changed. They told us they wouldn't let you do it. So we are establishing the business based only on the indoor seating.
Okay, because their stipulations were no sidewalk cafe. Rear windows will be outfitted with light shades and plantings. And should have been replaced with double pane windows,
It is all the window.
a double glazed, yep. And that there's no patron access to the rear yard.
Yeah, there's no connection whatsoever. As a matter of fact, honestly, as an operator, I don't know how they're doing, how they were doing, because it goes through outside, through the whatever. It's.
So, okay.
I wouldn't even want to do an outside in a way, honestly.
Okay. Go ahead. Go.
One of the important issues were the windows in the back. So there's windows in the back that face the apartments.
I don't think they open.
That was the issue in the past.
Oh, I think they fixed it. Oh, no, yes.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what she was saying when,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
No, it's been, they don't open.
A question, I don't know if you know as applicants, maybe somebody in the community, the stipulations at the time also involved the air conditioning system and the venting system. Do we know if that was ever done? Yeah,
Sure, which was
yeah.
the problem before.
It's from several years back when. Ben
I
announced-
know. Well, I know she's been operating for over 7 years right now. It's a
So-
state of the art, it's
So-
all renewed. I
So
don't know
everything
if
is
it's
back
to
to-
pay before or to the existing tenant. I know the existing tenant spent a lot of money to put everything up to code, like the venting and everything else.
Yeah,
So
right.
maybe that issue.
That's what we stipulated that they do, so it sounds like they did, okay.
Okay, and then my question is, what is your experience?
Well, we've been operating restaurant in the village for over 15 years. Right now, we operate a restaurant on 12th Street, like half block away. One thing, that is also important, I guess, we are in the neighborhood for over 12 years, working, for example, with the Church of Pompeii on Carmine Street. And I also give you a support letter from Union Square Partnership, which we do a lot of events and supporting Harvest with them. As my father told me that they don't do support letter ever, and they were happy to do for us. So I guess leaving a good sign in the street so far.
So, okay, and then are there any issues with the place on 12th Street?
Not that I know. Been operating for 11 years now.
Because so I'm just gonna be frank with you, we got a ton of complaints of noise complaints
Yeah,
from tenants in the surrounding buildings upstairs, a lot of them.
it may happen. Well, obviously, first of all, that's a completely different operation, meaning this is going to be a small
But
restaurant.
you didn't manage that
Yes,
operation.
that's where I was going. You know, it's we had some events that were street events.
No,
the-
this was inside the restaurant. In the restaurant,
with the
people,
games in the afternoon.
in all hours of the night, we have, the council people were emailed, the police were over there. There are numerous 311 complaints. There are
We had
311
some-
complaints going back to 2019, 2016 from your
okay.
establishment.
Yes, that's been being on, like, you know, we had some situation where there was too many people and noise, whatever, and it was addressed with the tenant, with the people, and we
But
worked with them.
we started hearing about it again this spring with emails to our community board office because they didn't know what to do. They've already been emailing council people and continued all summer with tenants moving out of a building because of the noise coming. Their kids can't sleep through a morning and
It
everything.
could have happened sometime, but again, all the people that came to us, we addressed the issue, we worked with them.
But it spanned over 3 or 4 months of us being inundated with emails. So you may have worked with them, but it took, I think a number of them moved out. And,
I remember there was one particular person that was very persistent,
we
which I
didn't
don't know
just
if it
have one
was,
person.
which I don't know if it was a matter of personal relationship or really a bothering, but maybe
So
the person that
what is
was-
your idea of background music?
background is just like, you know, this is gonna be a completely different operation, small
What,
restaurant.
but even there, it's supposed to be background
Just
music. So
listen.
what is your idea of background music?
Just listening music, you know.
So that people can talk like, sort of
Yes.
like this
Yeah,
over it?
It's a big space, so it's loud, but it's more the people yelling, talking.
No,
but-
I'm gonna tell you, I've eaten at that place at times at 6 o'clock at night and the music is so loud. You have to yell over it. I mean, I have my own personal experience with your establishment.
Young establishment,
Huh?
we have a very young clientele, so maybe the level of what they want or what they do may be different, and I agree with you, but again, this is gonna be a completely different.
How's it
setup.
going to
It's
be
a small
different?
restaurant, it's family oriented.
That's family, it has children in it often.
Yes, we do, even at the
Even
existing
there,
space.
so
at
that,
this
and that
space.
says it's sort of a family restaurant, so.
But every time
how
we
this
had
is
an
going to be
issue of
different
people
than that.
complaining, we always address and, you know, we always came to solve the issue,
Okay, I'm
if
done.
there was any.
Yeah, but what we prefer is that the issue is solved so that complaints stop. Not that there are ever more people complaining about different things. So, you say it's gonna be a different place. It's gonna have only quiet background music. You'll not be heard outside of the place.
Absolutely.
People are gonna come and go quietly. They're not gonna be congregating and drinking outside or anything like that, hanging out, waiting for Ubers.
We are comparing to a pizzeria, which is the existing one. A little bit younger, more actions to a sit down, well, they both sit down, but more like I don't want to say the word fine dining, but more of a higher end restaurant. So it's the overall concept that is completely away from that. And I'm sorry if in a way it's kind of first time hearing this, meaning we don't hear this complaint anymore besides, yes, sometime during the spring last year or back then in 2019.
April, May, June, July, August. That's how many 311 complaints
Maybe
there have
July
been.
was maybe with the outdoor dining, yes. Yeah, and we had one episode in June where we had like a block party.
And it's
So
not
that-
about the,
that
it wasn't about the block party. It was sound coming from your establishment past the hours you were supposed to be open with the police coming. And I'm telling you, I make 311 complaints. It is rare that I get the police to actually say they took action to do something. The complaints, they took action to do something. So, I mean, it.
Again, I apologize for that because I don't hear that so frequently anymore. It was.
But and as you've been open for 12 years or about, you've been managing it for that length of time. And there are also complaints in 2019 where police also took action, not, now there of course are some where they said they didn't see anything because they come 2 days later, but that they took action back then. So this isn't a random.
So, what does action means?
It
You know, you
means
don't
that
have any
they came and they
students or
tried-
anything goes
Well,
down.
it means they came and they tried to fix the problem as opposed to the response I get often when it's 3 days later and they show up, which is there's nothing happening here, so there's no reason for us to correct the problem. In this instance, they went and
And they-
corrected the problem, meaning there was something there for them to correct. And the same thing in 2019 and the same thing in 2013. So, I mean, this
Well,
this
as I
is a
mentioned-
I'm just trying to point out that this is a pattern that didn't get solved. And it continued up until as much as this summer when everybody came and spoke at our full board meeting to alert us when, you know, it's rare that the public comes to speak at a full board meeting when an application isn't before us. People came to speak. They got in touch with the building management, they got in touch with the police department, they got in touch with their council members, and they got in touch
I
with
wish they got in touch
people
with
in
me.
office. And the emails, they had gotten in touch with all of you downstairs. So I'm just saying it's unusual for us to actually have this kind of situation and me concerned about what's going to happen to the people that live upstairs from here.
Okay, well, two
When the
things. First of all, because, you know, it's a thinking process for me right now, trying to connect these events, because as I say, we don't get that many complaints. The one you're talking about, maybe during the summer, it may be people sitting outside, they're staying outside, they're getting too loud, and maybe the police came and they had to ask
1
them
o'clock in
to.
the morning and they were hearing the music. That's the complaints we had. It wasn't people yelling outside. It was inside, the music blasting and children
Summer.
not being able to sleep. But either way,
Well, on the
it's
other-
1 o'clock in the morning, people shouldn't be hearing anything.
I agree. Well, on this other place, just for you to know. Yeah, it may be some buyout for a part.
What are your hours?
Sorry, my name is Pasquale.
Okay, and what are the hours? Of,
No, sometimes we buy out the place for like weddings
but
and.
what are your hours? What are the hours that are on your liquor license?
Yeah.
11 on the weekdays and 12 on midnight.
So whether it's a buyout or it's not, if your hours are till midnight, if it's a wedding, if it's a,
Well,
who knows what it is, but the hours are the hours.
The hour that we use, I believe the license is, there is no limitation on the license, so I assume by default is 4 AM. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But again, regarding to this space, it's a completely different format, small, contained, by the way, and this is not a justification because it wouldn't be in the way. There is upstairs, I think there is a salon, an hairdresser salon, so there is no resident right upstairs. But there is no intention
Are there
whatsoever.
residents in that building?
I'm not sure, maybe on the 3rd floor or in the back, in the backyard, I think.
Mhm. Okay. Anybody else from the committee have anything? Katie?
Can you say the name of the other restaurant? It doesn't appear on this piece of paper. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, it's Ribalta,
Say that again.
Ribalta,
Starts with an R.
RIBALTA.
Okay. And you said that you're going to briefly describe the proposed operation. We have a couple of places see writer attached, but I don't have any writers to show me you're supposed to provide your background or other locations. I don't see them on this application. There's not.
Well, it may not be on this one that I just ended, but it's supposed to be in the one that was emailed to everybody.
It's in the drive. You just have to click. Yeah,
I don't have it in front of me here. Okay.
it wasn't marked writer, so it's part of the SLA application. Anybody else? Okay, I think that does it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So that does it with our regular, then we have new business and just give me 1 second. Guys, hang on 1 second. Okay. So we have Babby Restaurant at 282 Bleecker Street. I put the information for this in the Google Drive. And let me look at my notes so I can just kind of give you guys an update on this. they, you know what, give me 1 second. Just hang on 1 second. Yeah, I got it. The wall open. Yep. So they we got a 30-day notice in August of 2022. They were put on the September calendar. Ellen Lee, who was with
With
your
my
with Parks.
coworkers had a Zoom meeting.
Came to us in September to our committee meeting and said that they had just gotten the application and asked to lay the application over so that they would have time to prepare. They were put on the October calendar. They failed to appear and we wrote a deny failed to appear resolution. At the very end of October, October 31st, they sent in a new 30-day notice, which the office received in the beginning of November. They were put on the December calendar because it was too late to put them on the November calendar. They did not appear in December. And then we got notice that they have their full board hearing up at the liquor SLA because of all this failing to appear is next Wednesday. So I sent an email to all the email addresses I had on file in order to see if they could come in tonight to try to be able to handle this up at the SLA if possible. Again, miscommunication. So nobody responded to my email. So I did not know that they were going to be here tonight, but they are here tonight. I'd like to see if we can try to hear it because they're here and this has been going on and the questionnaire is in the Google Drive. I'm sorry.
Apology.
I mean, we can discuss in business what it's not loaded on the tablet because, right, Mark, it can't be loaded on the tablet because we didn't know. So I can share my iPad with that end. And we can just give us a second to see, but go ahead, Carter. You just do me one favor, use the mic, Cormac, hand him a microphone.
And just speaking without looking at this, the main issue here is the previous operator had significant issues. It's a straightforward beer and wine license, I believe. They've been open and operating with a temp license, but the previous operator was Promo Sushi, which had a lot of issues, including underage drinking, et cetera. And so we had wanted them to come in and speak to present their own application, and that's why they're here. But the liquor authority, I think, may have revoked the previous license.
Let me just see if-
Perhaps not, but they had violations with the liquor authority.
Can you give us the address, please, Carter?
Oh.
So 282.
282 Bleecker. Let me just, see, 'cause
Bleeckers.
I don't, give me another. Hang on. Yeah, give me one more minute to just, let me just see if I can pull the questionnaire. No, it's, I had pulled all this other stuff and I didn't pull that. So, let me go to, you just give me a second.
I thought it's gonna be in the during the meeting, so I have just only one copy and bring that for years.
Huh? What? I got it. Do you have it? And you're open, is that correct?
Yes, we are open April 2023 until now. Yes, it is.
Okay, all right, so I just dropped it in too, so, okay, so.
Two sets of clothing times here.
Just give me one.
Oh, there's just to let you know, so we are first time, so we're putting the.
Just give me, I need a minute, just Cormac, just let me give them some information down there and, because I want to also hear. Okay, so now let's see if I'm trying, guys. Okay, so let's try to go through this. Go ahead.
Okay, so, my name is Sam Park, I'm the representative, and then this location is the premise is 282 Bleecker Street, and we are applying for a restaurant wine license. And hour of operations, at the first beginning, we are putting the 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. 7 day. But right now it's the website, the business is kind of a little slow down, so we are closing some Monday, Tuesday, we are closed, and we are open 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
So right now, I mean, I guess what I'd like,
But we are trying to back in the April, we are trying to back in the correct hours, so 11 a.m. to 12
so that's what we're
a.m.
gonna jump
Yes.
this on 11 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Every night, 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to
Yeah.
12 a.m. And
and then inside dining, we are only play background music only. And then we have a 13 table, 50 seat, 1 bar and 6 stools. Its maximum occupancy is 74. And we have no sidewalk cafe. In the summertime, we're playing outside the 1 table, it's two seat. Only summertime,
so you will have something on the sidewalk. Is that what you just?
no sidewalk cafe.
So where are the tables going outside?
In the front of the restaurant, in the front.
So that's on the sidewalk.
The question there, the addendum, perhaps we're seeing. That says 2 tables and 8 seats. And that the hours were from 11:30 to 12 a.m. And that was the roadbed. That was the addendum that was included. Mhm.
So is that which? I mean, I would say there's no outside and,
Well, the diagram that's included has a roadbed with 2 tables and 8 seats.
okay,
And as well as,
no, in this.
I'm looking at the one that was originally submitted in August of 2022.
Right.
And that's,
So what is the outdoor? Is there a roadbed there or there is no roadbed?
I mean,
Seating in the roadway?
it's gonna be in the street.
I know.
So there are like 2 very small tables, and I'm pretty sure like the distance is more than 8 feet. And it's just really, really small table. It's kind of like, it doesn't even sit 8 people, like it's more like 3 people each table kind of.
Picture of it right there, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so there is no roadbed seating. There are 2 tables with 2 seats each, so 4 seats
Yes.
altogether.
3 seats each.
Yes, 3
Yeah.
seat each.
I mean, technically it can sit 4, but really 3 people.
On the sidewalk.
Yeah.
The table can see 4, but if you see 4 at that location at sidewalk, it's so narrow.
Exactly. So like the table is kind of attached to, like not attached, but it's the one of the side is actually like you can sit on one of the side because it's so close to the restaurant. So you can only sit on the 2 other side. Super small.
Okay, and this is, and just what kind of restaurant is this? This is a Is, I'm trying. Okay, and so two tops, and what time will you stop your outside seating? Will you stop that at 10 PM?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, well, only during summer times when we are able to open our door.
Okay, so it has operable doors in the front.
Operable doors.
Okay, and you'll close those at 10 as well?
Yeah, we close at 10 on weekdays, and weekend, I think it's like 10:30.
I think maybe you'll think of closing those doors at 10.
Okay, no problem at all.
Because that's generally what we ask everybody to do is close their doors and windows at 10 PM.
Not a problem.
And no seating on the sidewalk after 10 PM. And this is just a beer and wine license.
Yeah, just beer or wine.
Yeah. You may not be able to have anything out there. I mean, what, right, and, right. Doesn't look like if that's what Brian was saying down here, I think too, right? That it's not gonna fit sidewalk.
Yeah, basically it's just 2 cars. Like, I don't really see three people says.
Right, but you have to check with the regs because. Saying that you need to check the regs closely because there are a lot of obstructions in that space in front of your storefront. There's like an entrance to the underground, one of the slide sheds, and there are other obstructions. So you have to check the measurements to make sure you're complying with regulations. When we say that you can have those, we mean that it's okay with us if they meet the regulations, right? Okay.
Okay, and you have private parties checked off. How many private parties about?
I think we only had it twice so far.
So.
So it's gonna be.
Not more than 20.
Next one is 10
Okay,
a year.
okay. Does anybody else on the committee, Katie?
It would be nice if you closed on 11 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, Sunday through Thursday. The previous business there disrupted many residents. There are a lot of people who live on that block, and it's a narrow kind of street, can get loud. And it's so hard because we don't have the paperwork in front of us, but is there any limitless, that was another problem, any limitless drinks or boozy bunches? I mean, how do people pay for their drinks? Donna, can you help? Pay for the drinks. I mean, they order a drink. Is it wait staff service?
Yes, wait staff service. They order their drink. It's we have a menu of cocktail, wine, sake, and that's it. Like people pay for each individual drink.
Individual drink, and then I've walked by the restaurant. It's actually it's very nice. Okay, I think, does anybody else from the committee have anything? No? No?
Yeah, we can.
11 o'clock Sunday through Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that does it, right, everybody? Okay, what, I don't. Right, I'll need to send you a stipulation agreement.
Okay.
Tonight or,
Sure, and then
in
I
the
will
morning.
attend
And what is your, you know what, can you just take one of the speaker cards, make sure I have your email? Okay, I'll make sure I can read it. Yeah, ABC license, I got it. Okay, so then, I'll get you after our business, get you a stipulation agreement. I need that returned back to us like Monday.
Yes, once we receive it, then we're gonna notarize everything.
Yeah, we need to submit it.
Sure.
They have it.
So I'll be attending the next full board meetings. Yes, of course. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it's more easier
This
than
is
attending
everything we're handed.
speech in the full meeting.
Okay, so I'll.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for finally coming. Is it? Oh, you've eaten, because it's,
The Cloud Place, great place.
Oh, you've been there before?
Yeah.
That has been open for 5 years.
Great.
Yeah, thank you for liking it.
okay. Well, good luck. It's a, okay, so I think that does it with our new business. We'll take a couple minute break and come back.
Where you went for special occasions. What? Well, you know, I think it's where you took, you know, you can take kids to the upper bowl. So it's really, we go all just to the restaurant. You know, I had regular parents. You don't want to be out spending, jobbing and dining, summer at supper club. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I'm looking at, I love. It's just like, it is indeed 2024.
So you started.
I actually learned that Brian has done this is not good.
Not a crazy. Yeah, I have a feeling it's just the work.
You know, I was very positive all the time. That's a crazy.
That whole sushi place is nice.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. I mean, hey guys. Yeah, I did it. You think that's something that's the only one that. Good news, good, yeah, good news. You need it for business then?
No, I don't want to eat it right.
Okay.
At the end. All right, but thanks for asking. It's delicious. Did she make it?
She, I mean, I don't know who made it. She and her husband started the business years ago, so I, you know, it's kind of.
Are they local?
California. But I have relatives out. It's funny because I sent it to my cousin, really
As a
close, as
present?
one cousin, as a person, I don't know, he's sweet. And I sent her a box this year. And then she sent me a box this year, and I thought, did she realize that I sent her this?
Hopefully she just send yours back.
You know, it's, she sent, I brought hers actually with me, she sent a pecans. The ones I get, are they have the pecans, walnut probably, and all of that was great. I think, no, it's pecans, isn't it? Well, I think, well, it was supposed to be. I just like. And then, you know, we had our neighbors, like we brought our neighbors, they brought us chicken, and then they brought. Salon maybe, and no, but and you know, we love that stuff, but it's that's the big stuff. That's it. This is stuff that doesn't even matter. Michael Jordan. There's a Michael Jordan shoes. I didn't know I was going to see it. I would never know. I just like it so.
I know, it's all.
My grandson loves. But I wish we reached there. Michael Jordan. So many years ago. I'm not really, but I'm really sure. Oh, yeah. But you know, just like the life of nice and the best. In that way.
Yes, yes, that was very tragic.
It's very tragic.
Still tragic, but.
Yeah, very
So.
We're eight. Oh, we ready? Are we ready? 3, 4, 5, 6. 8. Not 8. Oh, 8. Okay, so the first one. Down at the mic. Oh, you need mic. Okay. Oh, you don't need the mic. Oh, we're not. Okay, so the first one is a Cook burger. And it's the restaurant, 37 Avenue. And what did they say? They said they'll close at 11 and 12. 2 TVs. The sound will not be put into the speakers, but it will not be muted. They will get it out, they can get a balance about when they open. There is.
Why would that 1 street door?
Right, no staff or patron use of the Morton Street door.
And they won't open the windows of Morton Street either.
They won't open the windows on Morton Street either. And, No bottles, yeah, they've got to change that whole.
Yeah.
They close the windows on, so that it's got that.
They close the windows at 10.
What was, where did you know this whole soundproof?
Yeah. Wait, the soundproofing is, so what we had in the previous stipulation was that they would take all measures, including soundproofing and volume control, of interior music levels to ensure the music is not audible in apartments above and or adjacent to licensed premises. So that's.
Yeah.
what we put in.
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
word is.
Yeah, again, and it's not going to be a sports bar.
Yeah, we should write that in, because I have some skepticism, like, I think this is fine to deny less on what they presented. I have some skepticism, we have, of course, some things present before, swear up and down, and not sports bar, and that's what they are. So.
Yes.
Yeah, but no.
Yes, they do. I'm.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right. But what happens is. we-
Stipulation. Yeah, right, put that stipulation.
The 40 they have there.
And two.
Number of TVs right there on there. Yeah.
They're like a model, has 30 TVs.
Right,
so it's
I'm
not
just gonna
gonna
put-
have them model and they're gonna.
Yeah.
Put it in very
I'll
plain.
just put it that way, not on-
To just.
Yeah.
You know what's so interesting, on the website in Philadelphia, they have a kids place. He said this is a family-friendly place, but he didn't have a kids place on this application, so I'm just like, you know.
This is why I get nervous, is because it's like, it may be that they're just, that it's nothing and it's innocent, or maybe that it's like, this is very fluid.
Yes, maybe he'll think of that.
I mean, I have been with the branding, because it was an argument we had, when Bagatelle was going to the Gansevoort Hotel, and they were using the name Bagatelle, but saying that they were something different, and we had, if you're branding using that name and everybody's coming knowing that that's your name and what that name represents, then why are you using that name if you're trying to be different? So I would have the same, question about, actually, but I don't know, I mean, should we say something about the configuration of that space? I'm still not clear how legal it is. You take a straight line, the wall of the building goes through the bar seat. The bar seats are like, they're on there, you know. I mean,
Right, that's why I asked about the CFO. I know it was running long and we should stop, but I wanted to ask you about the CFO, because I'm like, I was in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe the reason that it wasn't the CFO is because she was illegally removed the structural wall.
in 1978, no, they didn't.
No.
But say, not them.
No.
No, it has two LOIs, that's clearly that one.
I was just looking to see what, so it was Charlie Law in 1984 to 1999. And then Dragonfly from 2000, 2008, and then Soy the Document, 2008.
I think what was that,
So,
the woman was bombed out, I think. That there were no people living there. They didn't board it up.
well, there's nobody right about.
No, because they built it out, because they built it out.
I would just, the thing with this space is that because it's one of the 119 pre-existing closed sidewalk, I think that's the right number. They have this capability of using what's actually municipal property,
Yeah,
but it's actually inside.
yeah.
So they have a full-time opportunity to participate in the new outdoor dining program. If they still have to file papers with the outdoor dining program. So they are using space through the new program. And so the concern that and it's all enclosed, so they're not they're inside. But the issue is the road that has open streets.
They committed nothing.
The open streets that originally for restaurants to participate.
Yeah.
For the open streets, for them to originally participate, you needed 3 restaurants.
And I thought they said.
And now it's changed that anybody can sponsor street absolutely. And so and my concern is that everything we talk about, It's still gonna be there when they have it in the street. And not only that, it's not realistic if you look at their plan to service the cut floor, we can't go through that sidewalk.
But they-
So it's a reality situation, and these things are going to end up doing what they're.
Well, before you had that debate with them about the open street, previously, Lauren applicant admitted there'd be no, I even asked them, because I want to make sure that I heard correctly what they had said to you, that there would be no outdoor seating of any kind.
So my concern, right, with if that, I'm not against the open street, in fact, I'm not, maybe an appropriate street or may not be, it doesn't really go, you know.
No, it's exactly.
Well, the point is that if it's closing early, it's not. Well, but they were not doing the plan issue.
They were not willing to do that.
And that was the problem, because it sort of goes against everything else we talked about. Right, there's some like people sitting outside. Right. Until some very late hour, you know.
Well, and it's highly contradicted the dimensions they had made to us the 10 minutes before.
So I just think that will be the issue in the future, and I think we should address it now so that it's clear.
Do we want to put a stipulation in there that says something like, you know, if they have outdoor seating as part of the open street program, that it and X hour?
Then you're conceding that it will happen.
I heard them say to me quite clearly, response to the question that there would be no outdoor dining. I think he just writes it like that.
Well,
They were not
they didn't agree to that.
they didn't agree.
They
did. No, they
That's
didn't.
what I'm saying.
And you're gonna. So one of the things that. I agree with that.
I thought I heard that.
Yeah.
The open streets renewals went out in December, and so for anybody who currently operates, I don't think I can go about it. Stuff went out. So this operator that currently runs it, they're not gonna be there, so I don't know what that means for the open streets. Perhaps one of the things you can put in there is exactly when they come back to us. And we can discuss whatever that will be at that time.
And we can participate in open streets, is not the name of the participants.
So the issue here originally was that not one built a roadbed structure, if I remember correctly, this is from co-op, whatever it is. And this created tremendous issues with that building, and we can always email. So there's some balance that can be found. We didn't talk about it, and that makes it difficult that. Discussed when there is an application with this without some understanding, because if we're looking at the impact that this place is gonna have, so. You know.
It is, it's a big.
We're talking about needs, but if you. You have to be inside.
Right. Yeah, so are we? Okay, with it, if we put in a stipulation that says that they'll come back to us.
If they're gonna have any seats or any service at all outside, which is.
That's the requirement in every situation.
Right.
And now they'll start standard thing, if they don't have any seating outside or participate in that program, come back.
And wasn't that, what was the step for that one actually said? Very clearly, it said there will be no exterior service.
Right, so I'll put that in, no exterior service. Okay. And the 11 and 12, and closing the windows and all of that. Yeah. Is that awesome? Everybody okay with that? Yes. Words in my heart.
Yeah, I'm not.
So you're not,
No.
so you two are not, both of you not?
I don't know how long-term license works, but that's, I understand the hours. Good. And the chances are that things can get a lot of balance in why it's on.
I'm worried about this. I wasn't denying us when, on my understanding, what the lawyer said to me was that there would be no outside. We're talking about that it might be outside, then I'm not.
No.
Looking up for.
What they said is they weren't carried. Say that.
For that.
He said later, he said earlier.
Well, when you're talking about sidewalk and going back. Yeah, and there would be none of that. It did not mean that they would not participate.
So it's that, it's if there'll be no sidewalk on it.
Yes.
Okay, then I could be
There'll
denied.
be, and they have to come back for any exterior. Including open streets. Including open. I think we have to say it. Because they will say it. So is it 8-0 or 7-1?
And that's like in any, I'll go along, and just, it's don't be able to.
You don't think the license is appropriate for that, so for the kind of restaurant that it is, right?
That's very inappropriate, there's no reason to do it, so I don't say. I'll go along, there's a real.
Okay.
You don't have to. You understand?
I don't do it.
Okay, the next one is the Xandra Hospitality, 300 Spring. And that one, the one with the CB2 component, we will see, it's 42 seats, they have support from the condo, they won't be more than other events a year, large tables, seats outside, 10 and 11 outside. And so that.
Yeah, I want that, this is the new building. And there are, currently, there's other residents of the block, aside from that building, the new building next to it. But across the way, and on the other side of it, you come back to much office space. I mean, if there's a place that's appropriate for 1 a.m. hour, I see it. I do that.
I don't have a problem with this, because there's just what it is,
Right.
not. The business model doesn't quite fit it. Perhaps operate with that same style, and, I don't have a problem about it.
Well, I asked that question.
Well, no, and that's why I'm saying that's, and I also was concerned about running far with no experience.
Right.
At all. And, it's great to be hired, but at the end of the day, that's who's responsible, and, if it becomes something that you have managers, if it's not there, you don't know what's going on. That's become a problem, but it is in the building. So it's, generally a little bit better soundproof. We need, all the situations that kind of. I'm comfortable with it here, but it has some flags that, just like, I wouldn't even be thinking about it unless we have the other applications upcoming that, everybody wants to make changes to, and that we heard on Tuesday, the same.
So we're not lost. 8-0? Okay. That's 110, that's 10 left.
Yeah.
This was very good. So this was the upgrade, the 10 hours. From 10 to 11, Sunday. Through Wednesday.
It seems to me the strict of all the bells and whistles around it, what this application comes down to is, a year ago, you approved the business model. And now I want to change a whole different business model. Right, a year ago, we approved a breakfast, lunch, and dinner place that was gonna have a substantial daytime situation, was gonna be closing at 10 o'clock, because it's not really nighttime and dinner focused. right? And it's not, you know, even alcohol focused. Right now, right, we're being told that we got a place that opens at 4:30, has been running later than the hours that they have are licensed for, and wants to legalize that by pushing the license hours later, right? And may sometime in the future, they hope, expand to have some sort of a daytime program. It's a completely different business model. And if they presented this business model to us a year ago, because de novo, putting in this business model, like, but if they presented it at this location in this context, instead of presenting the community and things, I don't think we would have approved it. So that makes me uncomfortable with what in another location without that previous history might not be an uncomfortable call.
And we were talking about transparency, having to drag out and get incomplete information about the relationship with a place next door that has a sort of, you know, a questionable roadbed, and having to drag it out piece by piece. That was not good.
It made me think that as reading the two different descriptions on the questionnaires, there's like two different, completely different. So those two things combined, just kind of like.
I mean, we would have to have now a whole, basically, if you think about what our process does, we found that the previous model, right, with those key stipulations about daytime, 10 o'clock and beer and wine and so forth, right? And no outdoor. Wasn't a community interest. Now, what we're being asked for is a totally different package. Is it in the community interest? I think it's a whole different question too.
Yeah, and I also think that any proprietor has control over the hours of operation. And there's a stipulation that says they have to be closed at 10 o'clock and they're staying open till 10:30, then that shows a violation. It's willful because they have control. It's not a matter of that, oh, customers like to linger. Well, they have control over that. So that's really showing a disregard for the stipulations that they were operating under.
And, you know, one of the things in this perspective, that original model is totally different because it required 2 full shifts of staff. And what they've switched to now is 1 shift. And it's entirely different. And it's like you said, it's difficult to reconcile too. And the fact that they were able to work through and get the trust of people who were regularly engaging with businesses and the community to turn around in a year, I mean, sort of disrespectful to the entire process and makes it problematic for anybody else who comes before us, but it's just totally plain. And and that's, you know, these types of small stores, what people came to do during the day in our community, and the reason there isn't a lunch business or breakfast business is because there are no stores that are open during the day, which is what people used to come through and walk around too. And, you know, one of the only places in our community that seems to have a viable breakfast business is in the West Village, like the West Village or the Morton in here. And everybody keeps telling us they're gonna do it, and nobody does it. And it's because people don't need it. And now they've switched into something that is problematic in a place that, you know, they didn't look at bigger places. What do I say? I mean, it's a cycle of issues kind of wrapped up in one.
We're gonna try to
application.
tangential. You know, one of those crazy things that next door, you know, those things that pop up. Disinfect us box. There's a little repair shop on Hudson Street called David. Where you get to shoes, yeah. And they're getting.
Next to that one.
apparently have facing a huge rent increase and getting driven out of that space. And that's the thing where, what is it? Henrietta Hudson is in that building. And, you know, so, those are the businesses we want, but that's going to become some sort of restaurant.
Yeah, well, what, I mean, that's one question. I don't know what the shop was before. Nancy Page said it was serving community. It was, you know, a lot of those little dry goods shops on Christopher and like that are not serving the community in the traditional way we think. I mean, they're selling $400 sweaters to tourists, right? But they are generating foot traffic during the day, right? But the other point that I wanted to make was, Carter, what you said also put something else in, because this is also shows another pattern we face all the time. Were it not for the fact that we were offering something that these we don't have enough of, breakfast and lunch and coffee all day, right? This was the date to get an approval for a previously unlicensed space on a street that already had enough license space. And now they go to this, not because it's 5 years later and things have changed, but it's, you know.
Or because,
And
or because, you know, pre-COVID and now the world has changed, and then they opened a year ago, you know, we heard the application in 2022, so it's not, you know, the world had already changed with the change in what people were doing, so that, you know, you can't even use the excuse of, I opened in 2020 in January and thought this was working, now I find out it doesn't.
yeah, someone can explain to me how the Israel Hamas war affected this business. There's really no real change in context of the world between then and then.
What is that?
There's been no real change in the world
No,
between then and now, unless somebody can explain to me how the Hamas-Israel war affects this, because that's the only significant change in the context. It's got nothing to do with the Midwest. And
So-
restaurant.
What are we doing? Are we doing straight up to 9?
I like,
Yeah.
I don't have the baggage that you guys have of the things, when you burn on the same things over and over again. I guess like I've seen it as a 50,000 feet of maybe, but I also think that around point like. I don't know, like, I'm looking and there's like employees only.
Like, but the Christines. Right on the corner.
This whole thing is crazy. I mean, but how many blocks?
Place, that's great. I mean, that's creating huge.
Which one is it?
No, I'm just saying that
Well,
when you
and
say
It's
that.
on the block.
No, but I'm just saying, when you say baggage, I kind of take offense to that, because this is the issue with the change. You know, we're becoming a dumping ground.
I don't think that is, that way, I'm not like, I don't have that thing, like, how do we teach them to do better?
Right.
By
That's what she doesn't have.
I don't
that
mean like,
prior knowledge.
anything like that, it's just
Yeah,
like,
the
I'm
prior
looking at it as it is. And it seems like it's small, I was looking at all the reviews and it seems,
It's a cute
it
little
seems fine, but.
That's right. But you're right, I mean, and I guess I really feel like there's so much around and people can walk through blocks to get something, and this neighborhood has been so heavily impacted by one losing places, there's a number of places that have been lost there or places combined, and I really, the only thing I'm a little iffy on is to, if he were to stay with the beer and wine, with the 11 o'clock instead of the 10.
You know what, if he come in and presented that, and said, listen, it's not turned out the way I thought, whatever, I would have been okay with it.
But you know, what, you can present that part, I mean, that wasn't on our questionnaire, really. That wasn't on our questionnaire.
Eric said, I'm out of touch. What is that? I don't understand.
Finale, he's finale.
Oh, that's a ticket.
Maybe just turn it. But, so are we a total denial less on this? Denial less?
No.
Yeah.
See, look, there's a big distinction between beer and wine license and on-premise. Standard is different.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, that's the big difference. That's the big difference.
And you're not. No.
Rob's point, you know, is it in the public interest to encourage a businessman who is not forthcoming with them? I feel that he is evading.
The client, right? How we had to drag out. I mean, literally, I suppose, about that thing, it's like, I don't know anything about me, you know?
The point is that ultimately there will be outdoors, there was before, the on-premise and not here and one. So I'm just saying, this is the creep that we are constantly confronted with. We have been confronted for this for many years. And he's only been operating for 10 months. So as sweet as the place may be, it doesn't fit the standard that's required. You know, be a lawyer, that would be my.
Let him start complying and he can come back. I mean, it's no good saying one week over.
Donna, would you be willing to get in touch with him and ask him to go down to Beer and Wine if he dating the 11 o'clock?
That's not what he came with.
I know.
No, but that's his whole, I mean, it would be one thing, Katie, if it was part of his application, but his main application was not to change an hour. That wasn't even the application. The application was a question.
Okay.
So, you know,
He didn't say.
he can always come back
For
a change in hours if he chooses not to.
Posted out,
or for the.
Right, posted out.
Okay, so what are we voting?
Is denied.
Yes,
America is not in favor of that. Denied. Is there anybody else who's not in favor? Okay.
Not an easy call, but all done.
Okay. All right, the next one is, the Bisou, 1NK.
Yeah, so I was just thinking to myself, I have no problem with what they want, with what they are, with what they want to do. My problem is that, they seem to be wild and woolly with their sidewalk cafe. Right, and it's, you know, all I want from them is to stay strictly to the rules.
Well, I wish they would give us an accurate diagram. They give us something in writing and then they say it's wrong. I don't even know, I have no idea what they're really.
The other thing, those rules aren't out and they use everything in the village. They may not, they cut in with more than 8 feet, so you know, you don't know. I mean,
They're
that's
gonna
why
need to come back.
some of these, well, hopefully they come back. Hi, Darlene, I'm not Darlene, I'm not now, sorry, but this is exception and this is not the.
Things may change, Donna, but I'm just saying, if you.
I can do that.
Or, you know, it should, we didn't ever see what's really they got. We had 2 or 3 different versions, poorly reproduced. I don't know what they're asking.
Well, that, I mean, I think basically,
Yeah.
that we're asking everybody to come back, we're asking everybody to come back to the permit. Because they didn't have a sidewalk that, you know, they came to us originally during COVID for the temporary. And that stipulations didn't come back with, so I'm still writing the stipulations that say, you'll come back for permanent, but what I'm trying to put in there is, you know, not more than, or and closing time is this, because that.
Just so I'm clear, the only thing that they're asking for changing is changing flats. They're not asking for any changes in hours, operations, or the stipulations on the side. Our problem has been that they've not abided by them, and their response is mea culpa. Yeah, we knew, and then we corrected the problem. Yes, we have been breaking the rules, putting them on the side, keeping things technical level, but we just got these stores and we're gonna stop. So I think it's up to us, it's like, is that good, sufficient for us? And for me, it is, because they have to come back, so we'll have another chance if they keep breaking the rules on something. What are they? Why are they come back? For the permanent program, the sidewalk, I think. Why not?
Because you're asking them the same thing, but that's it. So they would.
But they're.
No, you have to come back, we would be approving that, because that's what. So then in terms of measurements, they haven't provided with the measurements, but
And maybe at some point they might for some other program, but not for the service dog.
Well, they asked for 6 tables and 24. Right. but
So
what-
that's gonna be, whatever was there before.
No, what was there before was 5 tables and 14 seats.
Okay.
So that's exactly the stipulations I would write this
Then let's
time.
just do that.
And it posted 11 PM, and it will say that, you know, and any new decision will conform to the regulation.
That's right.
And that they even put in a different diagram, but not to look at the diagram.
We
never say
The diagram. That's the problem, is there's the diagram, of this application, that's why I said maybe we should have to come back up with the diagram. That's all I said, not fun, but.
And I'm okay with having them come back with that, but I'm also okay with doing it.
My question, why do they still have all that?
Yeah.
Why do they not put it in storage? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Where is the storage? And all the units are gonna be.
Meaning that if they.
Yeah, maybe. you should-
Like that
you guys-
video, I never saw that.
It's gonna be on the sidewalk.
There you should see the picture.
Did they say they were gonna get?
The storage, she said it in the storage.
They have no CFO.
No, it's a letter of objection. Right there.
Is that a letter?
I think that's right. So I think I see that. Hold on.
Well, this is from the summer that was there once, right? So this is
What
just
summer is it?
this summer. So
This
this is
past
the other storefront, this is where their storefront begins.
Okay.
So it's pretty, you can see what the, so,
Exactly.
yeah, but this is another storefront. And they're only supposed to have 5 tables and 14 seats, so you can see there's like 14 tables.
Okay.
Plus extra staff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's just the dates from when.
What did deli turn into? What is that? Is it like a, so what is like?
Illegal.
That's another.
Yeah.
And it took
Um,
over. No, I
and so
got.
this is without the sound, but this is with at night, you know, just,
I know that, but.
yeah, I mean, just, you know, going all the way down the block still. They've said that they've stopped this. And then this was the, this is from tonight.
Look at
And
all
these is all the chairs. And- But yeah, but those are all the chairs that are there from,
It didn't take inside.
none of it, they still have 14 seats.
Yeah, yeah.
That's today. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're getting one.
Oh, they're getting.
Yes.
But I,
Can you do that? I mean.
No, it sounded like they're getting a storage unit.
Put inside.
So somewhere.
Do we want to just ask them
Well, listen.
To come back next month, just lay this over to next month so they can come back with diagrams of the sidewalk seating.
And by that.
And did they measure? And the measure.
The measurements, diagrams, measurements.
And then you can mark that in the stipulation,
I agree with
so
that.
that it's all set, what's over there.
Yeah, it makes sense. And did you see the video?
the proposed plan that they submitted, one.
That's.
That's, it
This
is.
is.
They're two different ones.
Right.
No, this, my concern is that this,
This is basically what they're doing.
no, this could be right, because what it shows is a roadmap.
Yeah.
But
It's
they
not clear, I mean, there's no way.
Where they were.
They said that they did not-
And then it was spread out on the side of the.
Oh, I see.
Wall here.
That's-
And it is a new
Oh,
wall.
it's 23 feet.
Right.
So it's like.
I mean, all that. That's what I think that this would be fine.
Yes. When it comes back to the, explain about the storage unit, is it off-site or on-site?
Oh, no, that's just for the outdoor stuff.
But are they putting that on the sidewalk? It seems to me that.
Maybe they're just taking it to a Manhattan storage location or something.
You know, we think it's now, $50.
No. This is. Nonsense. Like they have a bottle of beer, they. So that's the part of that.
Come back. Later about.
I give it a back. I asked you what problems they store and signs and petitions. I'm gonna be a company for the.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Probably can't go with that one day. But I'll go with it.
Please. It's amended to the.
Okay. That's not what Are you from Chicago?
So everything, the movie. Right.
So we do what you're suggesting. All right, so I mean, it's just in Bob's, like, agreements and estimates from that. Move to more, but I mean, it's, this is the type of thing. In down there, and watch what they were doing. Because we're gonna have so many. Because this is not really.
Yeah.
When you have to sign. This is the case. Right.
Yes.
Right, and but I think that. The concern is like, this is a wild west environment. Now it's electronic, they don't easily do that.
So. Yeah, so we're gonna ask them, so we're going to. What I propose is that we ask them to just come back next month. With the diagrams that are full, and she has a diagram that's cut off, so we can't see it, addressing the storage unit and all that. And otherwise, if we can't have all of that, then we can deny the application. Right. Good. Everybody, okay with that? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I think there won't be.
I mean, they already have a license, it's not holding them up, so.
Right. I mean, they can just come back with the, yeah,
Okay.
not like they're not open to.
Otherwise. A little more about your. Right. Okay. So the next one is. Emma.
Which was this.
Which is 15, he's 12.
Oh, right.
Transfer,
See, again,
good manners.
everything that they said seemed fine, but the thing that you brought up about the other location was the alarm.
Yeah. I mean.
Ironic, almost.
It's from the old place, yeah. So, you know.
I mean, I don't want them to ruin it either, I don't like just a space.
Is it? I mean. It's a smaller space, they're saying it's going to be a real type of operation, and the other, you know, I've been in there at the number.
Yeah. It served you the back of the page.
Yeah, so the southern space is a bar, inclusive, room, pizza, Italian, place with large, you know, a lot of large rooms that go in there.
I like,
This is a different space, so.
I like this place better, but the incarnation was before than moved in. Although they do have some issues.
So, let's see, the hours are 10:30 and 11:30, let's see.
It's 10:30.
10:30 and 11:30, then, severe levels. Background music only. Okay. Is there anything I'm missing in there?
I think that was it.
the back windows and everything all fixed.
This application, I remember it from way back when, and there were,
Is that
there was a lot of issues.
on them,
with
so-
people living in the back, it seems like it's the sixth.
Back windows have to be closed at all times.
Right, back windows,
They're black and up and.
no use of the rear areas. A full,
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about, front tenant upstairs or whatever, it doesn't matter, no use back there.
no use of the,
Two moves enough.
roll down gates over your windows will,
Right, I don't know if that's still there or not, I mean, that was sort of the old thing.
it will be always said, roll down gates over your windows will be.
The whole idea was the black. Privacy.
Okay, so there's no use of the rear yard by staff or patrons.
Well, I'll tell you what happens right now, is that the back windows are windows, you can sit them and there's sun and you can see out, but the backyard is a privacy fence. It's a wooden privacy fence that goes up several, you can't actually see that I can call it in the window.
So what do we say? Then we just want to make sure that those back windows stay blacked out.
Well, they both, well, they're not.
Language that was on there previously
Just use that.
was, so the double pane windows for the right now. The building, fitted with light shades.
Right.
I think it backs up into residential.
Yeah, it does.
Is that the way it is currently now? That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the thing that, so just keep the same.
The other thing is the exhaust. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Right, I mean, presumably it was still rarely noisy and.
And there's no outdoor seating, and there's no unlimited drinks, or unlimited even drink specials, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so. Okay, and it's background music only, and we're ignoring the background music is, I'm going with background.
We're ignoring the problem that these operators are creating another venue. And I mean, on the same block, we're not concerned.
Well, I
about
mean,
that.
I think it's concerning, I also think though, when those people came here to speak to this, and it's a different type of space, I mean, that's a different type.
Reference.
Well, so this just after the holidays. That's a, well, is that,
The partnership, that's what the business thing.
There's nothing the community knows.
yeah,
Yeah,
there wasn't
that's-
any committee out.
I mean.
Well, I will say I did email people that we got email from, but a few days ago, and it's over the holidays. So, I know some of those people moved out, but I tried to reach out to the people whose email addresses I had to just let them know in case they wanted, it's not, they have weeks of notice here or anything like that, but.
I mean, you look at it. I look at it.
Wasn't no leader.
I was just gonna say, one of these amounts looking through, they're engaging.
Carter, can you just speak up?
Yeah, I said that I'm just looking through this email, but it looks like one of them is engaging with one of the sector officers.
Right.
As well, and I mean, that's generally, they're involved, their responsibility is to go into the chronic situation, but I don't get owners. And that's the discrepancy that I just don't understand, how operators don't know that. Yet this is only engaging with elected officials, the local.
Did you hear that, Charlie?
So it's either an issue of non-communication from the staff. Owners, when they do counsel, whatever.
Or the owners not being candid with it, and they say we don't know anything.
That's just my.
Which would be my guess.
Well, the part of ownership, you have to know what's going on, it's not a surprise to do it, it's up to the higher people.
Communicate the issues. But that's what we've asked people to keep a log of this. In some of the bigger places in the new packing districts, so that any staffers, so you can't say, I don't know.
Right. Somebody can complain and say, "I just like it." And then, you know, the owner can look at it.
So,
But I don't know, too, this, I understand what Katie was,
yeah,
you know, speaking to that, because it would be nice to see now that there's an awareness of these other issues that they are addressed.
Right.
And I see from the email that this seems to be ongoing issue.
So, listen, I consider perfect. It will all go one and temporary period, that somebody's off and it was that, and they kept going on. It was, and then with the, you know, with the ones that happened, then it's not as consistent, but
The space and the hours make me feel a little bit better.
yeah, that's, the space makes me feel better, we can't do the same thing. And it's different, it's not a pizza place, it's a. I don't know. If it's next to but they were ignoring the hours. If people were reporting to us that they ignored the hours on the other place. Well. They,
So what do you do?
huh?
Yeah, voting, July what?
Denying, I mean, I'm in denial last with stipulations.
I'm in denial left with the steps.
Can you read this,
Well, I haven't done the steps yet, but I mean, basically, the hours are 10:30 and 11:30 and background music and the things about blacking out the rear windows.
Okay.
And background music will be in capital letters and the closing time means all patrons out and, there's no outdoor. That's it. That's standard. Okay.
I will.
So are we all okay with that, Katie, or not?
Only to deny that, if we put in the paragraph that we have concerns because of their behavior.
But I'm putting that in the resolution.
Kind of where I.
As long as
Yeah,
it's-
definitely.
Because I wanted everybody on the red line who had,
Make sure that the rest
Yeah.
out.
okay.
I spent hours tracking that down, I walked out of the other restaurant because it was last
send it
week
stipulations.
at 6 o'clock, so.
I don't know if you can see.
I can't.
It's not that we didn't know about the accent.
Stay right.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
They're good.
Okay.
Good morning.
The last one is the perfect coming to.
You're gonna let-
We have done, we have anything.
We have done what? That, the restaurant at 282 Blaker Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a, what was the restaurant on? Yeah, one more that, so.
Yeah. Is it a regular time?
11 and 12.
Yeah.
The two tables outside, if they can even have it, that's the, I don't think they can. Tricky.
They're closing.
And it's 10 for that and 10 for the operable windows.
There's no, all you need, all you can drink special. And never get the place to observe it.
Yeah, I know.
And no sushi, what was it, the bombs, what was it?
Sake bombs.
No sake bombs.
In fact, it could be here.
Okay, so are we doing this was everybody?
We are, you know, since we talked about the other places, like they're bad.
Are we done?
These guys are.
We're done.
Are like, it's perfect restaurant, and they have ever, and.
You can't leave yet.